I was just saying, Birdie told me something about knights.
What?
What kind of knights? Like our Titan knights.
Titan knights.
Young Nicholas, have you been reading the Facebook chat? I
might have. I even saw the "don't no one tag him" bit. I was like,
oh, that's for Cread. Yeah,
that was for Creed.
Oh, that's for Creed. Okay.
Oh, what's that about?
For a very specific reason.
So I posed a question, which was, can we have super heavy dreadnought armor, i.e. knights? We had a little bit of discussion, and it looks like, yes, maybe we have to get knights as Terminator armor. I.e. knights that don't have a control throne in, so they don't try to mind control you.
No, you'd need a control throne. You can't take...
You have to have a control throne. But unfortunately, the only control throne that wouldn't basically mind control you with the people who've been in it is found on Mars, and the Martians are not likely to let you have it.
But
but we're pretty so tight with them.
Well, I mean, you're not that tight yet, but yeah, if you were to get sufficiently in with them, it is not outside the realms of possibility. The original reason that I was saying no is like the reason that you can put anyone into one of the reasons you can put anyone into a knight, but you can't put anyone into a titan, is that they have a fairly different input structure. It's not different necessarily in how you use it, but it's different in how it uses you, if that makes sense. So what they do is they like have psychic imprints of everyone who's used the thing before you, and slowly train you in almost like an Avatar-esque way using their spirits.
Do you know how the Phoenix Lords work? In 40k?
I mean, this is for everyone generally who's not aware. So
I was basically saying, as an example from the 41st universe, do you know how the Phoenix Lords work?
I don't think
where they're sort of sent... basically, inside the armor is the collected experience with one dominant personality of everyone who's ever worn the armor. Mm-hmm. It's basically that.
And it also overrides bits of your mind to make you more suitable. Sorry, Carl?
I just wanted to share that someone at work started calling Titans ambulatory murder churches.
I mean, it's very true, especially the ones imperators where they're actually big enough to have churches. Let's have some reminders from last session. Oh, actually, before we start, a minor request from young Nicholas. If we could all just tone down the insubordination by about 20%. It's fine to keep doing.
Does that mean I have to increase my insubordination to then tone it down?
No, it's just just knock it down a single notch so that he's got a little bit more freedom to act and as change. And in exchange for that, I'm going to start giving young Nicholas firmer timers within which he can act. So that he's making decisions a little bit faster. And if we get outside of those timers, then you can be bolshy. But he'd like us to give him a little bit more of a shot at commanding, without him then having to go into brutal disciplinary measures to get people to actually do what he says. Cool.
I'm gonna get that countdown timer, right? Sorry.
I just got the countdown theme playing through my head now.
Yes.
Cool. So let's have some reminders from last session. There's too many notes in this document. I have to scroll all the way to the bottom for the reminders.
You have to do that anyway?
Probably.
Yeah, but it's longer now.
We're just giving him too many things to write about.
Kuzco just broke his bench. Kuzco wants to flip out. Coayah wants to get the party back on track. Maccy wants to apologise to Majos Adjutant Virith and allow him to pick a punishment for Coayah. Coatlmox wants to sneak into the Majos Adjutant's office. Coatlmox wants to kill the Majos Adjutant. Negotiations may have been sullied.
I like how we start every session with some relation of we're going to be good with we're going to be tight with the AdMech. And so far, every interaction we've had with the AdMech has been dismal at best.
Yep.
We tried, right?
What? No, you didn't.
We tried.
I mean, we tried very hard.
Sorry, the only time you ever tried to get in with the AdMech was by being uncomfortably pushy. You can't say we tried after all you've done is like try and force your way into someone's place of work, and when they say no, try harder.
He's one of them, right?
I explicitly mentioned I'd like to pop in on him and chat whenever I can.
Yeah, and he doesn't want you to do that, and you keep doing it, which you know.
Stop turning up at his place of work, Creed.
My place of work as well.
Yeah, exactly. They now work together, and he's not happy about that either. 2 best quality bolters and 1 good chainsword have been given to the locals. Nazeem wants to apologise to the delegation. Maccy's helmet is currently off. Kuzco wishes to consider screaming inside his helmet. And that is a different thing and should not be there. It is not a reminder for you. Cool. I think we said we would start with Coatlmox this time. Back up on the ship.
Oh, sweet, I got an extra piece of chicken.
Excellent.
That's how much I go there. They've given me extra chicken again.
It's always good. So, yeah, what are we doing, Coatlmox? You're back up on the Obsidian Heart. You've been watching a picked feed, if I recall correctly, which Seb is streaming directly from the surface via his implanted Voxcaster.
Right. Firstly, I am going to talk to the guard and our military boys about the feasibility of doing an orbital strike that only mostly floods and destroys the Mariotha Metroplexic. Just see if they can get some numbers crunching, see what the feasibility is.
Let me see what your crew roll at.
I think you said it was 40 and under.
Those troops, wasn't
Imperial
it?
forces roll at 40 or under.
But we have Space Marines up there, right? So
Yeah, I was going to
higher.
say, wouldn't it technically be like marine ship people like doing the shooties?
Yeah, but you don't have Marines doing all the ships. We've got menials for that.
Exactly, I don't think you have Marines. Like, the reason you have Marines crewing vehicles is because they can plug the black carapace into the vehicle, so the vehicle becomes like power armor for them. I don't know if you'd put a Marine on like a naval gun, because it's more of a...
Oh, man.
Well, because you don't usually have specifically just one person firing, it's more like a giant mortar crew thing.
It's more, the Marine can drive the vehicle around, and it's a lot harder to disable a Marine driver than it is to disable a mortal driver. But in a spaceship, you kind of need your Marines to be leading boarding actions as opposed to firing guns.
Yeah. It might be picking who you're firing at, but unless it's an emergency.
There'll be overall command, probably, to them, but the rest of them will be in teleport or boarding torpedo.
That said, I suppose in terms of like formulating, is it possible? Yeah, that would.
Space.
No, that's fine, but this is relevant to Creed's role. In terms of formulating, is it possible? That's not strictly asking the gunners to fire it and see. That's asking like, oh, let's go speak to the tacticians and see if it is possible. And they probably would be Marines.
Yeah, I want it mathed out. I'm not ordering an orbital strike just yet.
Can a maths it?
I think that's the most thought you've ever put into firing a gun crew.
The fact he said just yet is the worrying bit.
Oh, come on, you know this is going to go downhill fast.
Got other machinations to put in play. And I've got to try and break into the ADMEC office.
Okay, I will take... I think this is going to be Intelligence Inquiry. And I'll give you a +20 for like having your assorted tacticians and such aboard, please, Creed.
So I'm rolling it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to roll off the crew, but I also feel like that's a bit shitty.
And it was what over intelligence? Sorry?
Inquiry over intelligence.
Inquiry. Basic that, and then a +20. Did you say?
Yeah.
Nice. There'll be 3 successos.
3 successos. Depends what you mean by just wipe out Marotha. The like title.
Oh, I'm talking about like a balance between maximum civilian casualties and minimum infrastructure damage.
Fair. Okay, so the concern that is theoretically espoused by a number of nervous-looking tacticians is that they're not convinced the void shields won't hold up against a suitably sized tsunami. Depends on the city's sort of power structures. Okay. And in addition to that, the planet is racked with fairly violent weather generally, basically everywhere but here. It's one of the reasons it doesn't have so many major land masses, which means the waves you're likely to cause are unpredictable. You might, conceivably you could create something that'll hit and probably wreck a good deal of Marotha, but for all you know, that might cause something that also surges a gigantic tsunami into the heart of the crescent, and then the bite at the middle of the crescent, and then wipes out all of the farmland and all of the major civilization centers south of the Gralloch Range.
And how much damage would our smallest orbital ordnance do to this place if we, say, hit a landmass that wasn't shielded?
Smallest orbital ordnance by standard does... I need to double check the Rogue Trader rules, but I think it's about 10 kilometers around it. So with the fleet bombarding, let me just double check what ships you've got actually in the fleet. So your torpedo destroyers aren't going to be great for bombarding, and I don't know if escorts...
Oh, we want macro cannon broadsides. Don't think these will have them.
Let me just double check what the weapons on the side of a sword class escort are. Shouldn't be too long.
Are we doing... on the map, is there any scale to the map we're looking at?
Not really, honestly.
No, I didn't think so.
Although it wasn't in the notes, I would also like to remind everyone that we are technically in communication with the ship via Creed's puppet.
Yeah.
You also have your own Vox surf amongst your civilian adjutants.
We do, okay.
Helpers, rather. I'm pretty sure they were mentioned last time. Cool, so they do have ordinary laser batteries, which aren't the best for bombarding, but they do still work. And you've got 10 of those, plus the Obsidian Heart, which itself is more built for boarding actions and deploying bombers and such, but there's no slouch at this type of thing, even if it's not exactly graceful. So given enough time, you could probably wreck a decent-sized population center. Within maybe a day or so, probably a bit less than that.
I'm assuming we include, when we say infrastructure, do we include workforce in that, or is it just physical work?
I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm checking what the brief was referring to. Is it infrastructure?
Infrastructure is probably not including workforce, given we've got a huge amount of auxiliary troops without real designation in it.
I just want to double check.
I would say it's probably very much a nice to have, not least because the state of technology being what it is, if you kill all the people who man tech, there's no guarantee that you then know how that tech works.
Okay, cool.
That shout.
Alright. Well, my second thing, I don't know who to ask about this one on the ship, but about a potential political delegation to Tolashiro and Rastic to try and get them on our side. Obviously, this delegation would be surrounded by military.
You're the remaining person in command on the Obsidian Heart, so you could have that issued.
We have men for it?
Sorry?
Do we have men for that? Would that be some guard or something?
So you don't have iterators at the moment, so all of your... Not that they don't have them, you just don't at the moment, for reasons. So you would likely be sending Space Marines down, which means you'd probably... You could send down first and second squads, I guess. They would probably be seen, though. Stormbirds are not quiet, radar-wise.
They're not designed to be.
Well, no, exactly. Yeah. But the point is, if you drop things from orbit, especially when they're looking right at you, with whatever sensors they may have, they're going to notice if surprise delegations go to Talisha and Rastic's mark.
That's all right. I'm not thinking subtly for this. I'm just thinking about future plans if the old delegation doesn't go well.
Let me just double check the information you had for Talisha. Oh, yep. Talisha does have a localized Marothan garrison, but the majority of the populace are anti-Marothan and resent their occupation.
Excellent. So they'd hopefully be an easy flip. And Rastic's guys are pretty similar, right?
Yeah, Rastic's mark are the junior partner in the Triumvirate, and they're basically without power. But they used to be the continental superpowers and would definitely welcome a reversal of fortunes. And
how much room we got for plopping Titans down, and how long does it take? How many mass conveyors do we have?
You have... So I looked into this. You've got one mass conveyor, but it does have voidcraft that will ferry them... not voidcraft, aeronautic craft, there we go. So craft that will ferry them from the void down to the planet. It takes about as long as a standard landing, but it's also like incredibly obvious that you presume that it's a lander and that it's giant. And most people can pull an Ollie from that and go, that is a lander, which is very big. There are either many things on it or one big thing, and either are bad, and will then usually try to blow it up. So, when you land Titans, you make sure that you have secured the airspace first.
Can only one Titan, one of our size of Titans fit in those mass conveyors?
No, mass conveyors are fuck huge. The mass conveyor is the Voidcraft, but you only fit one Titan per aeronautic craft that transports them down to the surface, generally.
I see. Okay, cool.
Because it's also it's not a complete refueling station, but it's I guess similar to when you send down a drop pod for Space Marine. It's also intended to be a bit of cover and to include basic maintenance frameworks that let you do more field repairs, that type of thing.
How many Titans do we have?
5.
5. Yeah.
I suppose the Crescent especially is perfect Warhound terrain, though. So they would.
Ideally, this meeting will go well, and we won't have to bring the Titans to bear.
I'm just making
I have been put on my ass. This is an offence to us, brothers. I must get retribution.
Ask for another duel at the end if you want.
The idea of you sipping a cup of tea and dropping half an inch and getting totally pissed off with that is hilarious in my mind.
So, anything else you want to be doing up there, Coatlmox?
In that case, can I quickly have a go at breaking into the Admech's office?
Sure. How are you wanting to go about this? You both share the same Forge Shrine, but it's not like a corridor and then he's got a locked door. It's like a locked, minorly fortified office. You're past most of the fortifications that the Forge Shrine has because you already work within it, but it's still his inner sanctum that you would have to penetrate.
Can I do some sort of logical inquiry and fancy my chances at getting through undetected before I make any attempts?
Let's take a look. Yeah, I'll take a logic at a -20, please. Let's see if you can work your way through his defenses.
Yeah, 1 successo.
Wait, whoa, really? Jesus, so yes. Didn't even hear you roll that. Okay. You've been working at this, slowly but surely, for most of the years since you got back to this ship with the Magus Adjutant on your heels, but you have eventually guessed his door combination password.
Oh.
It's the technolingua name of his favourite mark of lasgun.
Respect.
Allowing you to disarm the majority of his inner sanctum's outer defences and waltz into the interior room. There's still doubtless countless booby traps in here, but you're exposed to the red glow of the inner shrine. What are you after?
Is there anything in immediate reach?
Yeah, it's not too big a room. It's maybe 5 meters across. There's a couple of servitors embedded into the walls, slowly toiling away, scribing down something, cogitator banks all over the place, a thick, cloying smell of incense and oil, and a cold mug of recaf positioned on a tiny desk.
Alright. Can I check for any traps along the way and then try and get to a cogitator?
Your time on Mars would tell you that Admech traps tend to be difficult to check for. They're usually a bit kill happy, for lack of a better term. What cogitator are you trying to get to? There's a number lining the walls, and then there's a couple set into his desk.
The closest one.
Okay. You gingerly step forwards towards it, hoping against hope that you're not going to step on an evil secret floor tile. And make it. The cogitator bank glows green and dimly in front of you. You can hear whirring noises from within as it computes something in the background. What are you wanting to do?
Security? Do I have security? Oh no, I don't have security yet. See if I can get in there without any security, I guess.
It's the brute force method. And I don't mean the security version of that.
I mean, yeah, I think tech use is probably... Let's take a tech use at... Call it tech use at a -20, please.
One fail.
You get a big fat error code, but nothing else particularly negative.
Too much of a pussy to be too brash in here, even though I do want to kill the men.
What did he ever do to you?
Do it publicly, where everyone can
Right,
see.
so you know that there are whoopee cushions, right? Do you have an explosive variant?
God, getting Rogue Trader flashbacks.
Sits down in his office, just...
Why do I remember whoopee cushions and Rogue Trader being a thing?
I'll be near
2
the army,
words,
right?
J Atomics.
Christ. Sorry, Creed?
A couple questions. I'm right near the army, right, and have relatively free access to it.
Fuck, let me check my bloody diagrams.
Because we met this AdMech guy at the armory first, right?
Yes, but the ship has been remodeled quite substantially since then. Although I'm also working off of like a diagram from some decades in the future, so hang about. Okay, let me have a look. Go away, seagulls. No one likes you.
Not even other seagulls.
I don't actually mind seagulls, to be fair.
They're rats with wings.
Yeah, rats are pretty great, though.
Rats can fucking suck it.
So, you don't, strictly speaking, have a dedicated armory in that way. There's like minor armories scattered throughout the ship. The closest thing to it would be the Forge Shrine itself, which you're already inside.
Alright, in that case, is there a crack grenade around?
You want to nip out and grab a crack grenade?
Yeah.
Alright, sure.
There's a whoopee cushion, and then there's... I suppose you are trying to kill the man.
Wanting to try and do it on a battlefield. But yeah, could I try and set a trap with this? Also, how many Pix cameras are on me, if any?
Extremely difficult to tell. Anywhere from none, no one could possibly get into my inner sanctum, to 1,000. Everyone's going to get into my inner sanctum. I work in the AdMech. They'll be trying to murder me constantly.
People wonder why they have trust issues.
I'll put a hood up then.
A bit late.
Yeah, it's a bit late. Cool. I think that's technically demolitions for setting the trap, right?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, is that an actual thing? Is it? Oh yeah, of course it is.
It might arguably be survival, but that is also advanced, and you also lack that.
Yeah, maybe I won't try and trap his office.
I'm not used to being so constrained.
Sorry, Creed?
I probably won't try and set the trap then.
You look around for a likely place to put the grenade, and then wonder how you're going to keep the grenade from exploding after you pull the pin. You're not really used to this. Your grenade use up to now has been fairly direct.
Good face.
Eventually, you sort of go back and return the grenade. If he does have you on camera, he will likely change his password after this. Is there anything final that you want to do here?
Plant evidence so that you can accuse him of treachery and just kill him out. Alright.
I did want to try and find some dirt on him, but I'm too afraid to go about it. Not really get caught.
Take a dump on his desk.
Are there any just like papers lying around?
There's an inordinate amount of data slates just strewn all over the place.
Alright, I'll just take one at complete random and leave.
Evidence.
Okay. You may add one stolen fucking, what's his name? It's Magus. I want to say Idrin, but that's not correct. That is a completely different and much more liked character. Manabi Virith. One.
Oh wait, was Idrin the guy that we didn't actually want to kill?
Yeah, Idrin was.
Yeah, Idrin was the poor bastard we had to kill beneath the world.
You didn't have
I
to.
mean, I don't want to kill him. Benji, you killed him with a spear.
You could have chosen not to kill him, but you all were given a choice between let this man live or get XP, and almost unanimously you chose let's get XP.
When the
I'll
Emperor's
get that
Inquisition gives you a
name.
choice, you have no choice.
Can I get that AdMech name pasted somewhere? Perchance.
Let's have a Manabi Virith. So you got one of Manabi Virith's random data slates. Could be incredibly vital, could not be.
I'll go back to watching the thing.
Yeah, things haven't really changed too much. Or, well, let's see how they have changed, actually. Maybe they have. We don't know. Meanwhile, down on the planet... Kuzco, I believe you had an action queued.
Yes, I'm going to start swearing vehemently in my helmet with like all the Vox stuff off.
Everyone else nearby just hearing...
I would like to direct 2 of the honor guard to help him up.
You've only got 2 left here, I think. Oh no, you've got 3. You sent 2 to take the Magos back to the ship, and presumably keep him there. The two magi, that'll be a scene. The 2 honor guard advance and go to help up Kuzco as the embarrassed delegates signal to have a new and stronger bench brought forward for their husky friend.
I very tentatively sit down. You know that sort where you're ready to jump up at a moment's notice?
Yeah. It creaks, holds. The rest of the feast sort of go back to eating and staring at the exotic strangers.
So it's kind of it's died down a little bit. It's kind of settled a little bit, yeah.
Well, it's into a feast, which they're throwing for us.
Yeah, I guess part of it, I'd like to take a drink myself and another one, and go and speak to the main delegation.
You're sat at the head of the table with them, if you recall.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll lean over then, and I'll just say, very sorry for the commotion earlier. By all means, please do accept the gifts. It would be our honour if you could accept them. They're given with good intentions, and hopefully will bring about good talks.
Still with Voxes off, and show you our killing power!
The 3 delegates look between themselves. They've already taken or had the weapons taken with some difficulty in their ceremonial crates away. The lead delegate, who I think was an elderly lass, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, an elderly woman from Marotha.
Yeah, it was the elderly woman from Marotha, the elderly man from Hoirantis, and a younger lass from Rastik's Mark. Yes. She sort of nods and gives you a weak, embarrassed smile. Well, these things happen to all of us. Someone always... She sort of glances at the younger woman, causes a scene.
Throwing some fucking shade.
Wait, is that the right expression?
Thank you.
Can I just, how loud was that? Could other people hear it, or was it just them up at the top of the table?
You're at the table, top table with the rest of them, if you'll recall.
Yeah, but I presume I'm, at the end or something.
Yeah, but it's also not that wide a table.
Okay, cool. Right. Can I just, lean over and look at her? Just well, come on, do something and redirect this embarrassment that has befallen me.
No, they're being diplomats, and they have politely pretended to not hear the killing power comment, even muffled as it was through the helmet, or address the fact that your chair snapped beyond having a new one brought forwards. Or bench, rather.
I'd like to have... God, sorry.
So what is it that you feel you can offer us by joining your Imperium of Man? We are perhaps intrigued, but at the same time, we in the Crescent have fought fiercely to retain our independence. The younger woman to her left scoffs.
I wasn't ready for this. I thought we could have a meal and then talking, but okay.
Brother Captain, if I may.
By all means, brother.
Thank you. We offer 3 main points to all who would accept the Emperor's offer of joining our great federation. The first is protection from any and all horrors of the Old Night. Whilst they may not have fallen upon your world yet, many sectors and many worlds have felt the sting of those horrors unleashed in the olden days of the stars. 2, trade links with all of the freeburgs or free planets within our federation. And 3, an equal voice in the Senatorium on Terra. You will be heard. Other than this, we ask nothing but that you join us. You may retain your independence. You may retain ownership of your planet in nearly every way. We only ask that you join with us and that you accept the Imperial Truth as set down by the Emperor of Mankind himself.
I think, for the record, the Senatorium Imperialis is sectors, not planets. Not totally sure. But...
I don't know if anyone else from this sector has joined yet, so I'm pretty sure they get first dibs.
I appoint you sector governor by right of first come, first serve.
You joke, but yeah.
No, I'm not joking.
That's actually a pretty sweet gig. Yeah.
That was going to be my thing of just like, if you join now, you get to be in charge of all of this.
Just throw up a map. Be like, this is all you.
Do I know how many planets we currently have under the Imperial yoke?
It's already numbering in the medium thousands at this point, I think. We're 10 years in, so the Great Crusade is still picking up steam, but the Segmentum Solar, though I don't think it's officially been designated as that yet. The area around Sol is some of the most heavily and densely populated space in the galaxy, at least for humans.
I turn to Coayah. Brother Coayah, may I also make a few points?
Of course, brother.
As I turn to the three assembled, currently our empire numbers in the thousands, and over the coming decades and perhaps centuries or even millennia, that is only set to grow and grow. We believe your planet shall make an important and vital. Let's say vital. An important trade post and stop point for our ongoing pacification of the stars. You would have unlimited business with thousands of planets, and there will be many hundreds of ships stopping through here all the time. The trade opportunities themselves would make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams.
The Morothan delegate looks pretty interested in all this talk of trade and we'll give you dominion over space. You can be space queen.
I mean, to someone who wants me to be space king, I'll be on that. Yeah.
If someone came from space and said, "We appoint you space king,"
oh yes. One, you don't argue with someone who came from space.
All you have to do, pay fealty to Space Pura. However, the Hoiran delegate looks suspicious. Exactly how many of these foreigners would you be expecting to bring to our shores?
As many
Brother
as
Captain.
you allow, presumably. I probably should have said the word presumably there.
May I interject, brother?
Yes, by all means.
The flow of foreigners onto your planet would be entirely of your own choosing. As sovereign over this planet under of course, the glorious Emperor of Mankind, you would be responsible for setting any and all laws upon the planet, aside from those determined by the Senatorium. If you wish as well, thanks to our friends with the Priesthood of Mars, space stations and various waypoints within the system would be established that if you did not wish any interlopers to set foot on your glorious planet, they would not be allowed. They would have to deal with your representatives in low or high orbit.
The Hoiran delegate void stations. The Hoiran delegate looks actually slightly enticed at the idea of keeping all of the foreigners off planet. The delegate from Morotha speaks up again, stroking her chin. This Imperial Truth of which you speak, tell us more. And then you don't need to do it in character, though I do appreciate all of the in-character speech. But what is the rundown of the Imperial Truth you're giving them? How do you outline the philosophy espoused? What are the stipulations you're trying to lay down?
Would anyone else like to take this one?
Or... No, I think you're in a position to continue as you are.
I think you were born for this question, Benji.
Yes, I think exactly.
The Emperor of Mankind, as he has revealed to us through his words and his actions, has lived many lifetimes. He has seen all things that can be seen by a man. And he knows that in that heart, organized religion brings conflict, brings death, brings ruin to mankind. The Imperial Truth is a rejection of this, that there are higher beings. The Imperial Truth states, we are humanity, and we can strive to be the greatest we can be without paying obeisance to those who might not even hear our pleas. We should strive to become masters of ourselves and masters of the stars, without the influence of people whispering to us that we should always bow to one who that we could never truly know. The Imperial Truth speaks to become the best version of yourself, to achieve your own objective perfection.
The Hoiran delegate raises his goblet. Hear, hear, a philosophy we can believe in, and casts a sideways glance at the Morothan delegate, whose face is overwhelmingly neutral. I will take a scrutiny perception roll from yourself, please, there, Coayah.
Scrutiny perception.
A +0.
Could I do a perception on the guests at the party?
That is going to be 5 degrees of success, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 4, isn't it?
Do I not have scrutiny? I don't have scrutiny. Sorry, I'm so used to having scrutiny. Apologies. It is 4.
It's fair. I mean, you don't have survival either, to be fair. Which
no,
is
I know. It's like the third thing I buy.
You have basics, so you don't have any negatives in it.
Yeah, he does have a +0.
Yeah,
but I don't have +30, young Nicholas.
No, you do not.
And what if I have not my +30?
Can I do a roll on the guests at the party? I'm thinking their expressions may be less guarded than the delegation up front.
Certainly, but they're also not hearing a lot of what you're saying. But you can. We'll do it after this. With 4 degrees of success, you can tell that the delegate has just put on the delegate from Morotha has just put on a diplomat's professional, neutral face. If anything, looking slightly enthused by what you're saying, which, in your limited experience, tends to indicate someone who is absolutely appalled by a concept. We will get back to her reaction in just a moment, but Ollie, sure, that'll be scrutiny perception, please, at a +10. Wait, what are you hoping to get out of this roll first?
So, I mean, it was based on if anyone else could hear, really. So if anyone else in the larger party can hear the conversation,
you can see how the rest of the party is going, but they can't. They're not really hearing the negotiations going on here.
Okay. It was more, I just wanted to see if because she's got the professional diplomat's face. I'm thinking other members of the other party members may have slightly less guarded expressions.
Sure,
and so hearing talk,
but they'd have that from talking to members of your civilian delegation.
Oh no, I.
What's the doff on that?
Cannot read a room.
Wait, scrutiny.
Read the room, Ollie. I mean,
this is fully in line with Mackie's general personality.
Where is? Oh yeah, scrutiny there. So that was perception. That was 40. So that was 4 degrees of failure.
That's 5 degrees of failure, is it?
Oh yes, yeah, 40, 50, 60, yeah. 5.
5 off. Okay, you look around the room behind you, glancing over your shoulder, and what you see, as far as you're concerned, is just legions of happy humans. Your humans, the local humans, everyone eating and laughing and drinking. If your experience dealing with the menials on your ship has told you anything, all of these people are having an absolutely fantastic time, as indeed most people are around you at all times. Because it is well said that Mackie can pick a target, but he cannot read a room for shit.
It's painful because fellowship was one of the things I was going to stat into real hard.
I love the idea of this meaning of friendship Space Marine who scares the shit out of everyone. Supernatural charisma Space Marines are great, but they're also kind of whereas overly enthusiastic Space Marine who gives off big, friendly monster energy.
But yeah, that's kind of exactly what I'm going for. But yeah, I'm still gonna pump up my fellowship. I think it's going to get funnier and funnier.
Just as a question to the group, may I attempt to be diplomatic with them to try and quell this? Because I have an idea that is within context and it's not just me pulling shit out of my arse. But I will ask if I can put it forward, if someone else would like to try and allay them.
What is the idea?
I want to try something. As you do it, I want to try a thing.
Okay.
Are you thinking of the Omnisire angle?
The diplomat is also going to respond to the Morothan diplomat is also going to respond to your statement for the record.
That's fine. Yeah.
What are you saying, Nicholas?
I was say, so like my affected stuff is kind of it's under the radar to me and everyone else, basically, isn't it? It's like it's all very.
Unless someone was actively senesciencing or like had warp vision or something along those lines at the time, then or you don't cast it at fettered, then yeah, it's not easily detectable.
Cool. I'd like to inspire the 3 delegates.
Okay, what are the rules here?
So Seleki can bolster his comrades by sending out waves of reassurance and calm. A number of targets equal to your psi rating 3, there are 3 delegates, immediately overcome the effects of pinning and gain +10 resistance against fear. But in the kind of wording of it, it's calm and reassurance. So trying to reassure them. So let's go. You know how like you kind of knee-jerk reaction to like that doesn't sound nice. I don't like that. You kind of clam up. I'm just like trying to loosen that a little bit, so they will keep on listening to us.
I would be worried that it might inspire them to take a more hardline position.
Well, I'm going off the reassurance and calm of this isn't a terrible thing. So, and it's fear that it removes and whatnot. Yeah. So
fair. I mean, I'll let you try it, but like pursuant to what Ollie was saying. Fear is a negotiating tactic you are currently using by being giant space marines.
Yeah.
Cool. What page is it?
Page on the PDF 191 at the bottom right.
191. Oh, funnily enough, I was actually on that page already. Huh. Should have looked. Cool. Yeah, you can declare psi rating and cast. As you're doing that, Kuzco flags down a servant off to the side. God, what's my... We don't have an accent for this, do we? Yeah, cool. So what's my Carl impression? I can't do a Carl impression. Bring me the sweetest dessert available.
So just doing it fettered.
Sure. And someone brings him this just like mound of sugar and what looks like meringue, but it's kind of green.
Like if I had my helmet off, like my eyes would be wide and I'd be salivating somewhat.
It's going to shove it through the faceplate.
You are provided with a sort of serving trowel-esque spoon, and
if they got a funnel,
the server dips their head. I will fetch a funnel.
Perfect.
What? It's on the underside of your chin. I think we established. How are you going to funnel it? Nope. You know what? I'll let him.
Bendy straws. Lots of bendy straws.
You just go upside down and like what's it like keg it, whatever it is.
Maccy on the other side, disinterested in the Imperial Truth stuff, asks, "What is your finest meat, my good person?" Different server sort of pauses for a moment. We have some local tuna.
You can tune a piano.
He pronounces the word almost reverently.
I pick up on that using my astute skills, and I tell him, yes, I suppose the pork of the sea shall do. Bring me your finest tuna, please.
Bring me your finest sea pork.
I believe pigs are extinct, but maybe pork isn't as a word for meat. Cool. Just before we get back to Benji's serious plot stuff, it's a mere moment before someone returns to you with most of a fish nearly as tall as you are. There's like a small team of them. There's 3 servers required to move it, 1 at either end and 1 in the middle. It's on a platter. It's still gently twitching. Its eyes swivel to face you. The server hands you an oversized knife and fork. They rot quickly after death. You have to eat strategically, avoiding any organs that are pulsing in order to keep it alive long enough for the unique flavour to blend into your mouth.
Oh, what do you want me to roll for that? Intimidate?
That's not
Weapon skill, Medicae.
Yeah, I think that's probably Medicae, right? Medicae or weapon skill.
I'll go. Okay, weapon skill.
I would say this is like fine detailed motor control, which you got a -10 to, right?
Yeah, I guess I can't take off my gloves.
Yes. No, you can take off your gloves.
Can I? Okay, in which case I'll do that then.
If he eats it brain, does he get really good at swimming?
No, it has to be human-y brains, I believe.
Can I, by any chance, use perception instead? Just roll off straight perception?
No, I think this is definitely a weapon skill.
Forbidden laws, Xenos? Okay.
Not for a fucking space fish, Ollie. Well, maybe for other space fish. If you were trying to kill it, sure, but you're not. You're trying to eat it.
3 degrees of failure. You know what? I'm going to spend a fate point on this.
Spend a fate point on the space fish. It's the exact same number of degrees of failure. You open the fish up, but stab too deeply and too firmly, killing it on the first blow.
I just quickly eat it, then I try and polish it off.
Oh no, it's like when he was not joking when he said it starts to rot, as it immediately starts to just crust and flake and die. The servers whip forwards and move to bring it away. A unique defense mechanism to prevent it from being eaten, my lord. Can we get you another?
Yes.
Ask if they have anyone more versed in the eating of this that could give you a hand.
Yeah.
Have you got an aeroplane going into the hangar?
Alright, yeah, they fetch you an eating assistant to sit on your lap, I suppose. No, they're not sitting on your lap. They'll sit on.
Here comes a tuna.
They'll stand next to you and open up the giant space tuna and slowly parcel out bits and move them onto a secondary plate for you.
I would like it noted that I'm chortling in between trying to eat my meringue thing at this scene.
How are you doing the funnel thing? I just want to know. I want to visage this, because this is happening as Benji's doing his Imperial Truth-speak.
Okay, so the question is, are we in Mark 2 or Mark 3 armor? Because we have them both at this point.
Let's have a look at the two different ones. Mark 2 power armor. Alright, squad vote. Do you want to have Mark 2 or Mark 3? I will post some pictures in Discord.
I think I prefer Mark 3 because it has the cooler helmet.
Yeah, it's got the faceplate.
Yeah, like whichever has the cooler helmet is what I usually go with, because that's the thing that's most noticeable about the different.
Right, I totally agree with that.
Mark 4 can suck it because Mark 4 is just bad Primaris armor. And it's the Ultramarines one. Nobody likes the Ultramarines one.
Mark 4's beaky armor, isn't it?
No, Mark 6 is beaky.
Yeah. Isn't this Mark 3?
No, I'm still waiting on.
Yes, that is Mark. Yes, that is Mark 3.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, yeah. So you do have Mark 3 then, actually.
That's the one. That's my character sheet.
Yeah. Cool.
What have I got actually? Thinking about it.
Sorry, Mark 2.
I have Mark 5 in my picture.
I've got a big helmet in my picture.
I have Mark 3. I just have a weird helmet. Okay.
Oh, am I wearing Mark 2 then, not Mark 3?
No, you're wearing Mark 3. It's the helmet.
Yeah.
And the knees. It's the knee pads. I have customized Mark 3. You have standard Mark 3 that's been painted.
Yeah, but the two images look pretty much the same that they posted.
What you
it's the knee pads.
Can I have an early form beaky looking helmet as my Techmarine helmet?
Sure, like it doesn't necessarily have to be the same beaky helmet, it's just a helmet that you've made look beaky. You tried to get the name Obsidian Eagles going for the Legion at one point, but it didn't really fit. People just kept calling you Quarrelers or Those Jerks, and that is the last legacy of that sadly abandoned plot thread.
So, I have one thing I'd like Seb to do in any free time that's not really important at all, but I want him to ask the Remembrancer if they caught Kuzco falling off the bench, and if so, can I commission a painting of it?
You cannot the Remembrancer does the paintings that she wants to do. However, you do have Seb turn around and see that she is sat at the. So remember, the tables were in a T shape with the top table where all the important people are, and then a long table going in through the rest of the tent that everyone else is sat at. And she is sat right at the join, immediately behind Coatlmox, furiously scribbling things and trying to into her sketch pad and trying to what's it called? get a solid vision through gaps in the power armor.
I just do like the point between eyes, like my eyes to her and back again, sort of thing. Like I see you.
Oh yeah, no. And as you turn to her, she scribbles that down too. She's quick sketching things for reference later.
But yeah, for the record, I want Mark II power armor just because, like, I'm slightly older.
That's
okay,
fair.
Well, if you had Mark III, the faceplate on Mark III lifts up.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy
because
to
everyone got
lean
really
back.
pissed. Everyone got really pissed off when the Indomitus set came out, and they had a captain who had the faceplate of his armor flipped up, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is so stupid! Why would they make it like this?" And it's like that's what Mark III's done for so long.
I didn't know that. To be fair, that's incredible.
Well, Mark III's designed for void action, so basically the whole point is you board a ship, you kill everyone, and you flip the visor up and intimidate people.
That makes less sense.
I know, and not suggesting it makes sense, but that's what it is.
That's the least circumstance you would want an unsecured head. Nope, you know what? We'll not get into it. Cool. So, in that case, somehow Kuzco, with this recently acquired funnel, is making his way steadily through the green meringue cake. Coatlmox Maccy is being fed or transfer fed elements of this mighty local Galifan tuna, which leaves Nazeem's Inspire.
Can I actually specifically just target who's the one that had done the stone face?
The Morothan.
The Morothan. I'd just like to target the Morothan. He's the one I want to soften up, not the others.
We probably should have found out if they had like a local religion before we went on about this.
It was in the briefing for the record, but no one asked.
I was thinking psychers. I'm wondering if that psychic power is going to be detected.
It was, but quite frankly, we're heralds of the Imperial Truth. It doesn't really matter if they do. The answer's the same to the Emperor. Big Papa E, don't take no for an answer.
I think it would matter somewhat. There's a number where you can say this is basically atheism, just ditch some things and you can keep doing it. It would be the equivalent to like Confucianism. If you strip out large elements of ancestor worship, you could probably get into the Imperial Truth.
Well, you can keep half the ancestor worship. You just revere the ancestors. Don't worship them.
Exactly. You do what the Michilco Galaxia does, but for atheism. So you can still get like religious societies to adapt to this idea of not having gods, and also I think especially for negotiations, the Imperium is probably okay with like phased. Yeah, all right. You don't have to destroy them immediately, but we're going to.
That was going to be my exact point.
Oh, sorry.
My exact point was going to be like, well, there are kingdoms on Terra that are still integrating into the Imperium. We're not going to ask you to completely throw everything away now. It'll be a gradual process that we can discuss further at future trade negotiations with other fleets.
But the much cued action of the diplomat from Morotha, who seems to sort of draw herself up and looks at you empathetically, but also sternly, as though she's been sort of freshly inspired. My people do not worship gods per se, but the spirits are important to us. She shoots a sideways glance at the delegate from the Hoyran Principality. We would be loath to give up our faith in the ways of our ancestors so recklessly for mere financial gain. I cannot think that the civilization I represent would consider themselves adequately represented. Were I to agree to this, my word would simply be not binding.
Okay,
sorry. What do you?
Fair.
No,
I would like to just nod to acknowledge her thing, and then go for my fellowship role, which was trying to convince her. Do I get any bonuses from young Nicholas's Inspire?
I'm kind of in a 50-50 mindset, because it feels like she's being frank with you, but also like I think Ollie's line of reasoning is also pretty valid, and it is what I was thinking as well. Is like, if anything is going to inspire her to, that power is for making you stand up against things that should terrify the shit out of you and that you don't have any right to survive. And That's in this instance. That's kind of the threat of Imperial force. But it's also not like she hates you. So I don't know.
It's trying to keep her mind clear in an inspiring way. You make someone stand up to because it's overwhelming fear of scary things. Yeah.
Yes.
So it allows you to think clearly because it relaxes you, it calms you.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to do. So so she doesn't have that knee jerk. We have a religion. We don't want to give it up. It's more of a we have a religion. Yes, I do have to fear it being going away.
I'll do my spiel before I roll. In that case,
let's
okay. So I would like to nod to acknowledge her and launch into my spiel, which is: we in the Imperium understand my own people back on Terra held many gods, many things sacred. But in looking, we found the many things were merely tales from the past of our ancestors, who rightly deserve veneration and honor. This planet, as well, may hold many things sacred to your people, but sacred is not the same as holy. And as we have demonstrated with our willingness to acquiesce to your particular cultural demands of not having any, as you would describe them, interlopers on planet, a very slow integration as your people and our people come to an accord over belief systems is entirely within the wheelhouse. You would control the pace at which this happens. Obviously, a faster integration means quicker access to the Senatorum. But if your people do not wish it, then you would be permitted to retain nearly all of your belief systems, so long as you did not attempt to spread those belief systems outside of your star system. The level of integration within the Imperium is entirely up to you, so long as it is an integration of some kind. We would accept mere obeisance of a tip of the hat that you would join us in this effort as a silent partner, or we would welcome you into the community proper. The choice is entirely yours. Okay, what would you like me to roll?
I am slightly torn.
I do have command, and I do have a talent that lets me use command on people who are not under my command.
But I think that was really just a very well-reasoned charm, is the thing. But I will definitely, for a fairly cogent argument, I will give a plus 20.
Okay. Well, I do a 45 fellowship for once. I will fate that.
Let it stand. Go on. Don't be a coward.
That's part of 1 degree. Look, we're gonna get a compliance off this. Hopefully, I'm not gonna bugger it up by refusing to.
You need
Wait, was that plus 20?
Yeah.
So isn't that 2 degrees? No. Nick's dum-dum. Nick can't do math, apparently.
You can do maths, you're Nicholas. You just need to work on your answers a little bit. So,
I don't know why everything's making me shit myself laughing today, but everything is.
So, you go through your spiel, and eventually the delegate from Marotha sort of reclines on her bench chair situation. Looking deep in thought, I cannot agree to your terms outright, but I can perhaps bring them back to my masters, and we can discuss this at length internally. It may be some time before we... And at that moment, her chest explodes.
Well, that puts a dampener in things.
Sorry.
I was going to ask who her masters were, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get an answer to that question now.
They're diplomats, so like the politicians back in Marotha.
Yeah. The Marothan government.
I kind of thought they were the head honcho.
Is it exploding with a sort of fleshy thing, like the aliens in it, or is it exploding with a boom thing?
It is exploding with a bolt shell to the chest.
What?
Okay, before we resolve this, does any viscera get in my dessert?
It's showered. Absolutely showered.
Okay, I'm going mental. I was loving this thing. It was great. Someone else has got to die. Sorry, let that.
Are you saying this is like your inside voice or your outside voice?
like, I think it's my inside voice, but it's probably still going to be my outside voice.
Is it exploded as in it penetrated her back and has exploded from inside? Or penetrated the front and exploded?
Penetrated the front and exploded as negotiations had clearly broken down, and in the spirit of your legion and its prior examples, one of your honor guard took it upon themselves to speed things up.
So, what?
I'm sorry, who in the what now?
Because that actually sounded like it was going okay. Like, not amazing,
I know,
but,
right?
like...
It's going okay. That was going okay.
We were to win
well.
a compliance with 2 bolters and a chainsword. The
also,
one who spoiled this triumph for the Legion.
What precedent? Can you think of no other character who was executed mid-discussion? Remember, you are...
our captain. Well, no, actually, that's not true.
Geneseed is typical for the Legion.
So, I don't think we executed anyone mid-conversation, like having a full-on diplomatic conversation with anyone.
I mean, other than the floaty guy holding up an entire
the
station.
one you shot.
There we go. That's that.
Okay, no, so
They had
I'd like
just
to highlight a few differences right there.
they had just refused the Emperor's mercy.
They are a shit honor guard. My God, let the talking happen with the talky people. Oh.
I think there's a big difference between like there's a big psychic person, like a big dangerous person saying stop, and it's going no, fuck you, we're going to kill you, and us being halfway through diplomatic talks and then shooting someone.
The diplomat training in the Space Marines is not all that it could be. I don't think you're wrong.
Hold on. Is this who I think it is? Is the fucker who...
I suspect it's not...
the lad that you've left in the remedial squad for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I suspect it's maybe not a diplomacy thing. This guy just wants to fuck us over.
You know what? I was going to be nice to him. I was going to take him out of the remedial squad. And now, I think we should give him to Carl to experiment on.
Also, it was your responsibility, Benji. This is on you now. You brought them.
And that is a fine argument to have, but is at this point that basically everything erupts into chaos within the pavilion. The soldiers from the local planet, from Galifas, from all sides, immediately sort of rush forward to secure their delegates and begin firing wildly at you Space Marines, and also into the people at the table, at the dining table, which includes a number of their own from various different nations, and also your assorted attached Imperial civilians. Your remembrancer dives for cover underneath, well, not underneath Kuzco, he's just going to break his bench deliberately and crush her, but underneath Coatlmox.
Can I...
Coayah. What you say, Ollie?
Can I turn on my loudhailer and use Intimidate to try and just get everyone to shut the fuck up and stop the panic?
You are being attacked by, if you'll recall, several hundred locals.
Our side has just committed perfidy across dinner. I don't think they're going to calm down.
It's more that I'm wondering if they can see the sheer volume of firepower coming towards us, not affecting us.
It absolutely will affect.
To clarify,
yeah, it's 300 lasguns. You are going to die. Ollie, you've played Black Crusade.
It's I just because
Also, 2 of us don't have any armor on.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But it's more like
you just took your gloves off.
The tent
and you don't have a helmet.
300 people in it, does it?
Sorry?
I didn't think the tent had 300 people in it.
The tent had more than 300 people in it. 300 is the soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so it's a big...
the Sparta.
And like also even with soldiers who would have been outside as well. Sorry, so it wouldn't be all 300 soldiers in it. But like they'll rush in at the booming gunshot and screams.
Okay, then yeah, we're fucked.
No, you're not fucked. It's more like you can't sit there and tank 300 las shots. More than 300. Las guns have a semi-auto, so you need cover or to flee or something. And intimidate might be valid in other circumstances. It isn't valid here.
I'm going with the spider/chameleon of if I stay really still, it's like T-Rex rules. Everyone's moving about, so that's naturally going to draw attention, and I'm just sat there being disappointed about dessert.
Can I order a squad and myself to start prepping for Dreadclaw deployment?
Just land in the tent. Fuck the tent.
Order squads to high alert and rush out. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention as well, Creed, and indeed everyone, it didn't come up last time and probably should have. You do have an attached, as do many fleets at this point, Adeptus Custodes Observer, who is also on the fleet and is also on the Obsidian Heart and is also, technically speaking, not under your direct command. They're just attached.
Not even speaking. They would not listen to us if we were anyone but Malcador.
Yeah. But they are there. Sorry, Nicholas?
Can I yell at Maccy and just say, helmet now!
He took his gloves off.
Gloves go.
He has a helmet, right?
No, he didn't wear his helmet down.
My apologies. It's Carl then has his helmet. No, it has his helmet on, but it's
Carl, full armor.
Yeah, Carl never took his helmet off.
My apologies. Yeah, I tend to. Carl, I your name.
Sorry. My helmet does come with me, but I just don't have it. I don't have it attached, so I do need to put it on. I think I do have it.
Yeah, I think you said you had it under your arm. Yeah.
Yeah, under my arm. I think
that does ring a bell. Actually, maybe.
Yeah, I thought I got that right.
Yeah, so I'm going to grab the helmet and snap it on as soon as I put my gloves on, I suppose.
It's like you can take these off in the field. It's a bit trickier to put them on in the field under overwhelming fire. So here's what I would like from you, squad who are currently at the banquet, come ambush, come fight, I guess. So what I would like from the pavilion group is like your actions in the opening 10 seconds of the firefight. Like, what are you doing for cover? Are you trying to make a stand within the tent? Are you rushing out of the tent? Like, are you taking hostages? Are you executing people? Are you just rushing away? How are you? Because you've only got 3 honor guards with you. Because 2 took the Magus Adjutant back to the ship. What are you doing here?
Is the honor guard who fired next to me?
The honor guard, yeah. Oh, I see.
No, I think we had you on the right, so they'd be next to not Kuzco. So they're next to Nazeem. My brain. So, yeah, they're next to Kuzco.
Okay, in which case, my first action is I would like to hoist the table. Sort of over and just create a barricade, I suppose, of any shots coming my way. Seems like the prudent thing to do. I guess it might fuck over everyone on the other side, though. But that's the end problem.
Out of character, I'm going to say we should grab the 2 delegates as hostages, who we can also interrogate once we get back to the Obsidian Heart for information on the various planetary defenses we're going to have to now circumvent thanks to that bastard.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab I'm gonna turn the table, flip the table, and grab one of the delegates who's closest to me, and protect the Remembrancer if they're next to me. But I think they're next to.
They dived under Coyah's legs.
Okay,
well, they dived under Coyah's bench rather.
Also, the person who is feeding me fish.
You cannot grab a table and 2 separate humans. Ollie.
All at once. Flip the table first, then you know.
You can stand up and just crotch thrust the table over.
Young Nicholas, are you going to be trying to take command here? Use a command role here to order us to pull back, or?
I agree with the hostages, but I want your helmet.
So
are we going over actions right now? Yeah.
Yes. Your opening actions are the first 5-10 seconds. There's also more generally, are you going to make an attempt to save the Imperial civilians with you, or are you going to leave them to it? Not necessarily likely to be super executed, but there's going to be a lot killed in the crossfire, and they will.
I didn't realise we had Imperial civilians with us.
I didn't either. I thought it was just us.
Yeah, I thought we only brought the Space Marines.
No,
we had our scribes and things.
Yeah, you had scribes, the
Because I know that there was the recorder lady.
Yeah, do you remember I mentioned earlier as well? You've got
Remembrance.
You've got someone who's carrying the Voxcaster as well. You've got a load of
there are a few. Okay, it's just a few people, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a few dozen basically.
Yeah, well,
full delegation.
Yeah. We want at least one of them to survive. So, but I
just make sure it wasn't so long as the painter lady dies, that's okay.
So how far away are we from the spaceport?
You're on the outer edges of the spaceport, so it was. So if
we sent a 3-man's, if we had 2 members of us. Can anyone fly the ship?
You would have left a pilot on the ship. I think it's fair to say.
To go get the Stormbird, bring it here to clear the whole place out. Hey, you know what? Flamers might actually come in handy.
I know, right?
You know what would be absolutely fucking hilarious? Yeah, the session after you say this is completely useless, if it immediately sets fire to the tent, clears a landing zone, evacuates you, and flies off. And that is why we take the Firebird.
I'm going to kill that guy so goddamn hard.
I love the Stormbird.
I'm going to kill whoever fired that thing so
Well, yeah, like we said last time, all members of the 20th group, they pilot the Stormbirds. They're on the shit list. The Firebird, sorry.
Okay. So I put on the helmet so I can say suppressor fire only. Take hostages. Protect the civilians.
Okay.
I was going to say, do you want to do a command roll? Because I can give you an assist on that.
Yeah, I can do.
Okay, so Maccy tosses you his helmet per request, I believe. And once you've got a loudhailer and a squad vox to get... You're looking curious here, Ollie. I thought you said yes.
I didn't realise Nick was asking for my helmet. I thought he was asking me to put my helmet on.
No, I was like, I want your helmet.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I put my hand out like helmets.
Oh, yeah, okay. I yeet you my helmet then, yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
You're sat next to each other. I suppose it's been a week since we did the seating order, so it's fair. Cool, yeah, in that case, command with an assist from Coayah. I will take... You're probably somewhat drilled for this. I'll take a command at a +10, please, Jan Nicholas.
Cool, and with bonus from Coayah, that's +20. Which is definitely what I needed. 7, exactly 1 degree of success.
Okay. So, Coayah hucks you the helmet. Last fire begins to blast all...
Maccy.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Maccy or...
Maccy.
No, Kuzco, sorry.
No, it's Maccy who's hucking the helmet.
Oh, is it Maccy?
Kuzco's wearing a helmet, but Kuzco... 1, it's smeared in meringue, and 2, Kuzco hasn't got it off and he needs to disengage it. Like, you can take off your armor in the field, but it's not like a quick pop situation, usually. You have to, like, actually...
I reckon I can get it off whenever I want.
Sorry?
Nothing.
God damn it, Carl. Scream? Yeah, you have to like go through a little bit of a palaver. That's why Ollie can take the gloves off, but it would have taken him a minute or two. And putting them back on under fire is doable, but it's not like just snap your gloves back on doable. Cool. So, last fire begins to ping off all around you. Can I get a strength roll as well, please, from Maccy for the table situation?
Yeah. I'll give him an assist with that if you like as well. Because I can do both. Because if I'm assisting you with command by shouting,
yeah, you're supervising the local squad. Yeah, that's fine.
So this is a strength test. I get +20 to strength tests. Though have I got my gloves on yet or not?
No, it's the first 8 to 10 seconds. Like I said, it takes you a minute or two.
Yeah. So do I still get? I should be able to still use the strength test. Just
because it's the motors in the arms, less so the gloves.
Okay. In which case, then this is a 70 or under. Wow, I make it.
Squeaked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as more than a few las shots ping around you, one like blasting clean through one of your ears, leaving you with like a sort of maybe an inch or so's worth of hole, and where your cartilage used to be. Nevertheless, you, with the aid of Coayah, screaming orders at the honor guard around you, and presumably mild recriminations at the one you presume fired the shot, heft the table over your heads and slam it down onto the other side. Orders begin flying, las bolts ricocheting, las bolts eating into the table all around you. Screams echo out as civilians of both sides are either scythed down by angry troops from opposing nations, or else dragged to safety or captivity, fate uncertain either way.
Gonna have to be right back for 2 minutes.
Fair. The commander did order prisoners taken, and the only person down here free to do that is Kuzco. So, Kuzco, if you want to grab either of the... There were 3 possible hostages at the table, I think. There's the Hoiran Principalities delegate, there's the Rastix Mark delegate, and there was the guy who was spooning fish onto Maccy's plate. Who, if anyone, would you like to be grabbing for?
I don't know why I wouldn't want some more of that fish later. Just saying.
take the Rastic. Keep him too. We can influence him on the ship.
Kuzco?
The Rastic is probably the worst one to take.
Nah. We can swing him.
Kuzco?
Right, so like my first action, like when all of this initially kicked off, was a deep sigh and then legging it for the Firebird, or like I called it the Fire.
Oh, sorry, did you? I did not hear that. That's
so I'm gonna turn around from the front of like the tent, come back in.
As you get to the tent, and in front of you, arrayed, there's like hundreds of troops more that were arrayed from somewhere else that you didn't see previously, like charging towards you, bayonets fixed, baying for blood, and you heroically turn around and go back into the tent to listen to your captain's orders.
This isn't me being scared of a like big old firing squad. Like this is just me following orders. I want that like clearly noted.
Make sure it was heard. I did also say suppressing fire only.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, 'cause I mean, technically, like with flamers, like it's all spray, so like, not the point. I'm not getting into that. But yeah, I'll like, which is the one nearest to me? Like, I'm not going for specific hostages, like as in of the two that were given as an option.
God, actually, if you rushed out of the tent and then back in, then I suppose you wouldn't be able to like. Any of these hostages, none of them will be near you because you like rushed out and then back in, right? So you'd have to maybe grab someone along the way.
I can grab one of the hostages.
Well, I mean, you were doing the table thing.
I grab one of the hostages after the table thing.
They'll have a couple of seconds to scrabble away, though.
That's fine.
Do you want to try and grab a hostage as you're sort of running back into the tent and back up the like trunk of the T-shape? Kuzco. Do you want to try and grab someone along the way there? And if so, who? Like an Imperial civilian or multiple Imperial civilians or like local hostages? Sorry, I know that I gave you options initially, but I completely misunderstood where you were.
Like I say, it depends on how they're moving, because I presume that they're also going for the proper tent exit rather than like presuming it's like a canvas sort of tent, like actual tent sort of deal, or
like a thick plastic tent type of a situation with beautiful patterns all over the place, sort of swirling gold and a field of rich white.
It's proper fancy shit.
Proper
like,
fancy tent.
you'd hire out for a wedding.
Sorry, Creed.
Where's Seb?
Where's Seb? Seb was sat to the right of Maccy. Not to the right of Maccy. Seb was sat to the left of Maccy and to the right of Nazeem, with the empty seat from the Magic's adjutant between them, which means that Seb is safely behind the table.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for the closest, highest ranking looking local.
Okay, I will take scrutiny perception, please, at a -10. I believe.
Yeah, nah.
You go to grab someone with wearing a particularly. Sorry.
Perception. So I'm just searching for exactly how many doff that is.
That is very fair.
That's 5.
5 doff. Yeah, you got to grab someone who's wearing. In fact, rushed out after you.
Sorry, I'm back.
Came the Hoyrantis delegate. God, I'm fucking up my own demonyms because they aren't the Hoyrantis again. So it'd be the delegate from Hoyrantis. There we go. Fucking hell. Who sort of fled at the first sign of trouble, clearly not trusting these strange foreigners from beyond the stars. And as you turn to go back in, you hear the sergeant's demand for hostages crackle out over the squad vox in your helmet, and go to grab this guy who was almost behind you, surprisingly, as he rushed to flee. Unfortunately, as you turn and grab him, hoisting him into the air as you run, a number of lasbolts ping off of the man. By the time you reach the table and go to put him down, he's taken significant fire and is basically dead. He's got a couple of seconds of life left, as he's just riddled with friendly fire las shots that were aiming for you.
Idiots.
I don't think you've requested I don't think you've voxed the Firebird to come get you yet, for the record, guys.
No.
Yeah,
I
I
thought you
was
were gonna-
running out to bring it back.
It's my next thing, but it was. I reckon I said enough at that point that I couldn't vox that as well.
That's fair. And Ollie wanted to try and see if he could grab one of the other two prisoners, the fish server guy or the Rastix Mark delegate. Ollie, were your choices? Which one?
The Rastix Mark delegate or the fish guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll go for the Rastix. Yeah.
Cool. I will take. We don't have athletics. Fuck, I always complain about this. I will take maybe intimidate over agility.
While controlling that, what's our weapon situations like? Obviously, the Honor Guard have weapons, but what weapons do they have?
Bolter and combat knife is the standard.
I don't think I get any bonuses to intimidate, apart from the fact I already have it at untick, so that's 10%. So
I'm rationalizing intimidate on the basis that it's like grabbing hostages quickly type of a thing. See, it feels like the most adjacent skill that I can see. So things like being more intimidating wouldn't make it. It wouldn't give the bonus here generally. Anyway,
yeah,
I think
that's fine. Agility, that's plus 10 because I have it trained. I think that gives me a plus 10. Am I right in saying that?
It's basic, isn't it?
Trained for intimidate.
Yeah, we're Space Marines. We're fucking into
fair then. Yeah, you are trained in rapid hostage grabbing. So yeah, that is actually a plus 10.
Oh, okay. So 60 or under. I'm going to fake that. 1 degree faded.
No, you snatch after the lass, and she backpedals quickly. You snatch again. Your hand, however, sinks into the rich yellowy dirt, and she manages to sort of scrabble under the tent flap and run shriekingly away.
Then I guess it's probably a bad idea for me to follow her out of that tent flap. The hail of las gunfire may be slightly painful.
I mean, they might come through the tent flap at any moment anyway, or just start firing into it. Sorry?
Did I bring a bolt pistol with me?
No, you didn't bring weapons.
No, I told you no
due
weapons.
to orders, we are without weapons.
Only the Honor Guard has weapons.
Well, I mean, what was the likelihood of anyone fucking up the diplomatic negotiations?
Wait a minute. Didn't our Honor Guard only have chainswords? I seem to remember that being a thing, right? There were ceremonial weapons
right.
and their chainswords.
Yeah.
I guess this guy smuggled it.
Even if you got a chainsword, you still have the bolter, right?
What?
No.
You still have a
No,
pistol.
they only had ceremonial chainsaws. Yeah, I remember this. They didn't have any bolters on them.
I do not recall this at all, and I just listened to this thing yesterday.
We were saying ceremonial weapons only, and we said that that's
To be
just
fair,
like
we're Space
chainswords.
Marines. Bolters are a pretty ceremonial weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but due to like the way we fight, I thought our ceremonial thing was just the chainswords.
Alright, sure. So we'll say it. Well, I mean, even a chainsword. Traditionally, you combo a chainsword with a bolt pistol.
Yeah, but if you're told only chainswords, you don't think, okay, chainsword and a bolt
that's
pistol.
fair, but you didn't say.
Yeah, but
only
pistols
chainswords.
are sidearms. That like
Yeah. When you say
even the Swiss Guard has sidearms, and they have
still a
fucking pikes.
weapon.
For
for ceremonial weapons, if you don't have a power sword or like a power weapon equivalent of some kind, then you very rarely wield a one-handed chainsword two-handed as your only honor guard weapon.
Like, either way, the situation is currently ongoing, so let's just say they have pistols.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've got pistols also, but I'm just, for my own sanity, double-checking what a Space Marine honor guard in 40k, which is mostly irrelevant, looks like. I mean, a lot of them are just wielding straight-up bolters one-handed.
Yeah, they've got a shield, don't they?
Well, I mean, it depends. They've got a variety of weapons, but they're also like Ultramarine scum, and who likes Ultramarines?
Nobody.
Fucking basic bitches.
Exactly. So, yeah, they've got chainswords and bolt pistols. God, I forget what the fuck we were even talking about there then. The Honor Guard have rallied around you, taking up positions on the reverse side of the table and laying down suppressing fire that is so far buying you precious seconds to keep people out of the tent. Okay, now then let's check what's your minute-to-minute strategy here, folks. You've sort of mown down a couple of attackers, and then the order went out, stop killing them so often. And now they're not charging into the tent so much, and people are trying to scrabble out of it, but also, like, because they can't get into the tent, anywhere between the next 5 seconds and the next couple of minutes, someone's going to start coming in through the plastic coverings to like your left, right, and rear in any combination, all or one.
It's a slight lull in the hostilities right now, basically.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily a slight lull. It's like a lull in people actually getting shot. There's still an immense amount of gunfire flinging around.
Okay, I was about to say, if there's been a slight lull in the actual fire as they steel themselves for the assault, I was going to try and ask if I can use my air of command talent to try and command everyone to calm the fuck down.
So my suggestion would be that we call upon the Firebird to take off and start clearing a path of fire towards us, maybe before it sets the tent on fire. And, we just hop onto that.
For the record, those are Titan-grade Inferno cannons. It would not set the tent on fire, it would flash melt it.
Oh, I mean, cool. Then we don't want it to happen to us. I suppose if the fucking plane... You know what? I'm going to think about it. But yeah, maybe that's the best thing to do is ask the Firebird to fly towards us, clearing a path.
Well, we don't need the Firebird to fire until we're all on it. The Firebird... got me fucking saying it now.
It is a Firebird.
Yeah, but the troops around us do not have anti-Stormbird weaponry calibers. Right?
We just had it to fly towards us.
That's all.
It can just land. We can get on. We can fight our way onto it, and then it can start firing.
Okay, I call out on the. Well, actually, I suppose brother captain is next. Brother Captain Nazeem's next to me, and I relay the idea of call the Firebird over using my helmet.
I'm already halfway through it, but you just haven't heard it.
I'll be back in a sec.
Fucking wearing ceremonial robes and someone else's helmet. Yeah.
As well, like an oversized helmet
that stinks of fish.
Calling the Firebird to come in, clear an LZ with minimum casualties.
LZ.
So we can evac.
Minimum casualties is not really what you geared it for.
No, but it's like if you have like landing zone A and landing zone B, B has 20 people in it and A has 3 people in it. Go for the 3 people. Don't go for the 10 people.
Again, young Nicholas, we just need it to land at our position so we can get on it. Like I say, these people have small arms. Like, they'll hurt us.
Like
they
T-Rex
can't hurt
arm.
a Stormbird. They can't hurt a Stormbird with that firepower.
I have that. Yes, I'm fine with that. Yes.
So it just needs to land, and we just get on it.
Yes. Saying, try to kill as few people as possible. That's all.
Yeah, it doesn't need to kill anyone. It just needs to land.
Yeah, hopefully. We don't know if we're surrounded or not. No, you can't tell what's outside.
Oh, you're almost certainly surrounded.
Yeah.
Like, if it can't have an LZ, like without killing someone, then.
I mean, okay, give it a go. But it really doesn't have a low setting. Is the thing. Those
I'm
two
aware.
Inferno cannons. I've put a picture in the Discord for the scale for like what they are size wise compared to a human.
I remember looking up last week. I am aware that they are big boy things. It's like I said, like if they have an option between killing 3 people and 10 people, kill the 3 people, not the 10 people. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so the order goes out over the Vox. I will take just to hold out for a minute or so till the Firebird can get under wing and get over here. I will take who's got ballistic skill weapons? It's really just the honor guard, right? Fuck. Okay, in that case, on behalf of your honor guard, who wants to roll a ballistic skill check for me?
This be using their or our?
I'll let you do it using yours, as we'll say it's your like coordinating them.
Okay, I believe Maccy has the highest ballistic skill, does he not?
He's currently Schlort, I'm afraid. He's away from computer.
Okay, well, I've got 50. Oh,
no, there he is.
Just go back. What was the question, or what do you want me to do?
I was going to say, who's got the highest ballistic skill? I've got 50. I don't know how much Carl or young Nicholas have.
I'm on 55.
My ballistic is bollocks, so...
I'm 55.
50.
What? Young Nicholas, what are your combat statistics?
I'm a psyker.
Yeah,
Willpower
you're also a space marine, What are your combat statistics?
My weapon skill is 41. My ballistic is 35.
More importantly, he's the democratically elected captain of this company.
No, I'm not suggesting he's not the democratically elected company. It's just more like you're a space marine.
He has the qualification mandate.
I have the highest ballistic skill by the sounds of it.
Roll a ballistic skill for the honor guards suppressing fire, then, please.
Yep.
DOS?
3 degrees. 2 degrees. 2 degrees. Yeah.
2 degrees, yeah. So you've only got 3 bolt pistols between you, but everyone can hear the revving of your chainswords, and the first couple of tentative attempts to crawl under and flank you from the rear are met with rapid dismemberment. You are soon joined by... Who's feeling lucky? Who wants to give me the roll to see how many Imperial civilians survive?
Come on, then.
Alright, Nicholas, I'll take a D50, see how many you end up with. Oh wait, D51, and then we'll have to do a -1, so none of them can survive, potentially. So it's a D51 minus...
Wouldn't D50 -1 do the same?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? D50 -1.
Bam, half. Pretty much.
Half of them mowed down in the initial opening confusion, as well as dozens, maybe 100 of the local minor delegation. The rest have panically crowded around and behind the table that you've thrown up, or under the table in the centre, or in some instances underneath corpses that they've pulled on top of them. Your remembrancer is frantically scribbling things down.
Oh, God.
You know what? I can appreciate that. You know, sometimes you just got to do your job to escape the horrible, horrible reality around you.
What she's here for. Okay.
I would like to be shooting death daggers in my eyes at this fucking dick who shot them.
Yeah, he's going to get interrogated.
You chose them, Benji.
Brother Michilco.
He is going to get interrogated to hell and back.
Was only following the example set by his captain.
No, that was very different.
Was his captain not promoted for doing the exact same thing?
No.
Was he not promised that he needs to get more kills than everyone else on this campaign in order to get out of the remedial squad?
I don't know if that was communicated to him.
Yeah, he has to survive for that to be a thing.
Firebird's on the way. And with that, you hear an almighty roar from above as your Firebird begins to make a landing. A roar, followed by a hiss, and then the world goes white.
Oh, fuck one off.
It blew up, didn't it?
No, it fires goddamn cannon.
Suppressing fire. Literally fire.
Just needed to land.
Who's wearing a helmet? Is it just
I'm wearing a helmet.
Nazeem and Kuzco and the Omega?
It literally doesn't matter if Nazeem is wearing a helmet, because obviously he's not wearing the rest of it.
Yeah, no, but he's got the fucking eye protection.
Exactly.
Can I scream out a warning using my enhanced sensors to detect it or hear it before?
Not really. 1 minute you're inside the shady tent knowing that the Firebird's above and it's probably not going to fire at anyone, and the next minute the world is a white-hot mess. The very air itself practically boiling.
I'm so angry.
There's a massive rush of air, superheated air, as the atmosphere around you all but ignites. Suddenly the civilians and refugees around you, a load of them weren't actually behind the table. Nicholas, do me the...
1d26 -1.
1d26 -1, please, Nicholas.
Well, they're all probably blind.
Oh, my dear Lord.
I mean,
the 6 behind the table are fine. Everyone else is either flash incinerated or rapidly crushed as the Stormbird lays down in a slightly awkward position.
I would like my eye, which is probably milky at this point from the incredible damage it just took, to just be twitching slightly at the rampant unprofessionalism.
Screaming in rage and anger as the Firebird does what it's designed to do and puts down in a specific area, having blasted free a clear zone, and then immediately just...
It's a Firebird. It could have just landed on the tent. We probably would have been fine. Probably.
It had to clear a load of troops out front first, causing the minimum amount of damage. And also, per Legion tradition, the gunner does want to be getting like a reasonable amount of kills for the campaign. Since we're doing this.
I knew this was going to go to shit. I know it.
Everyone knows you either go quantity or quality, and when you're the gunner on the Firebird's Inferno wing, like, you're pretty much stuck with quantity.
So true, but not right now. Please, no, not right now.
Look, I'm not doing anything that y'all didn't do in Chronicle 1 when you were little mooklets. Chronicle? Campaign. Fuck my life. Get out of my head.
I can agree with these interactions completely.
Oh, I see.
The shooting someone mid, like, is going quite well.
That is a trait of the Legion.
No.
They're meant to be diplomats to the Xenos.
So, for those of you who have eye protection, your helmets keep you able to mostly perceive events as they go down. Though even then, the light is overwhelmingly blinding as the Firebird above flash evaporates half the tent and the majority of surviving Imperial civilians, as well as hundreds of troops outside and a load of other assorted local civvies. And then immediately plonks itself down, landing ramp already open in the rear.
Could I have some quick clarification on which camp the Remembrancer was in?
The Remembrancer isn't counted for the statistics. She hid behind Coayah at the first opportunity. So she's actually fine at the moment.
How's the guy who cooked me the fish, or cut me up the fish doing?
You didn't grab him, so he scrabbled away.
He scrabbled. Okay.
Do we have any hostages right now? Did we manage to get any?
No, you got the corpse of the Hoyrantis delegate.
Yeah.
Maybe you can ingest his brain anyway.
That's not a bad shout. Make sure you keep that brain.
Okay.
I can't see. Grab your own brain, mate.
I make sure the brain is grabbed.
Okay, and with that... Oh, sorry.
Actually, all the delegates. I make sure I grab... If any delegates are dead, make sure I grab their heads.
As he's still able... Okay, so as everyone else's vision fades back in, everyone who isn't Kuzco, the first thing you see is Nazeem, in addition to the Firebird that's now landed where the trunk of the letter T of the tables was, Nazeem is ripping the head off of the corpse of the Morothan delegate and the corpse of the Hoyran Principalities delegate as well, one in each hand, wearing his blood-spattered his blood-spattered ceremonial robes covered in ash and gore and dust, and wearing Mackie's helmet.
I would like my eye to twitch again.
What were you going to say, Kuzco?
You're muted, Carl.
Thank you. It doesn't much matter now because his head's been torn off, but I was just going to leg it to the Firebird with the corpse in tow. But if it's just a head in his hands, then it doesn't much matter.
You sort of are halfway to the Firebird with the corpse in tow when you realise that whilst you weren't looking, your captain has torn its head off. You sort of disgustedly drop it. Amidst all the screaming, it's hard to tell. People begin rapidly rushing towards the Firebird. Inside, as the ramps open, you can see your two honor guards who'd gone back to it, now with bolters out, ready to sweep and clear. The Magos adjutant in a restraining seat, strapped to one of the large internal Prometheum tanks, screaming that he knew this would happen. This is always what happens. Did you at least recover the bolters?
I was just about to ask, can we recover the bolters?
No, they got taken away, if you recall.
They got taken away. They were diplomatic gifts from before everything went to shit.
We just tell them they got melted.
I'm not sure he'd be any happier. At least if they're all intact, he can recover them. If you tell him they're destroyed as well, he'll be even less happy.
But they aren't in the hands of the enemy.
It doesn't matter. He cares that the tech is intact.
It's a shame we didn't put sabotage stuff in the boxes. We should remember that for the future.
Well, the point was a friendly diplomat. Compliant. We were to win a compliance with 2 bolters and a chainsaw, and it would have been a boast to put us above the rest of the Legion, and now I'm going to have to skin a man alive just to make a point.
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
You not have done this to me.
I agree with Benji. I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Benji.
The little internal voice in both of your heads, actually, Coayah, and Nazeem, more or less is saying the same things to you. Michilco did this. Michilco did all of this. Flens him. This is all his fault. Though there's also a subtle undercurrent going, Counterpart allowed this to happen. Counterpart enabled Michilco to be the eternal fuck-up he's always been. Fill in Coayah or Nazeem as appropriate for individual player character. Anyone want to do anything final here before you... the fish has survived to this point, for the record. It's flopping around limply on the floor, wishing for death.
I'd like to stamp on it hard.
No. You've stamped on my things before and melted my things before. I am taking that fish. I may be blind, but I am hungry.
I will take both do an edge roll for it. We'll see who gets to the fish first.
I don't make it. 2 degrees of failure.
You might get 100.
It's just finishing off a purity
I'm
save.
going really badly this session. Like high 60s.
I mean, you have, but also, like, if you're ever going to roll badly...
That's a pass dead on, I think.
You dive for the fish. Unfortunately, Coayah leaps for the fish, and though you manage to sort of dive around it and hug it, and you're about to haul it up to safety, Coayah comes down in a double-footed aerial curb stomp. The fish's skull detonates, and the fish withers in your arms.
I stand up. I look him dead in the eye, or where I think his eyes are, though we're probably both looking in the wrong direction, and I say, just as I was beginning to like you. And let the fish drop from my arms. And walk very dejectedly towards the ramp.
As all of you pile onto the Firebird, and the ramp begins to come up with the 6 remaining survivors, and also Seb.
Push the Remembrancer out.
What, are you going to murder the Remembrancer?
We need the Remembrance.
We need them.
No, we don't.
That's the inside voice, right, Carl? Right, Carl?
I don't really need to give Kuzco an inside voice. He's his own inside voice.
I feel like Carl's character is, he has the Vox unit off and Vox unit on voice. Is what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, Carl, like, Kuzco's voice in the back of his head is not verbal. Kuzco's voice in the back of his head is the sound of snacking popcorn as they just let him do his thing.
Soon that thing will be unlicensed experimentation on a Space Marine who has been skinned.
Can you slip a Space Marine into their armor?
Terrifying semi-loyalist Fabius Baal.
Well, he's about to have a very non-willing host to experiment on. I can tell you that much.
I mean, arguably, Fabius Baal is still semi-loyalist since he doesn't follow the Chaos Gods. He's just mental.
No, in the same way that Alpha Legion's loyalist. Like, if you fucking betray the shit out of everyone, and you just happen to not be following the same betray... Nope. Irrelevant. Point being, a message comes through over the squad vox within your helmet, Captain Nazeem, from the pilots piloting the Stormbird, the Firebird. Permission to clear the area, sir.
Just take off and get us back.
Are you sure? We can get quite a few.
Take off and go back.
Noted, sir.
Said with a tone of disappointment.
There's a brief roar as one of the tanks begins cycling through fuel, but it shuts off almost immediately from one of the gunners over the Vox. Sorry, my finger slipped on the trigger.
Did it discharge?
Yes, for like a second or so.
I feel like I can almost see the heat lines coming off of Nazeem right now. Sheer anger and boiling hot armor.
Takes helmet off and hands it back to Maccy.
Mag boots engaged, everyone else strapped in. Oh, the captain doesn't have mag boots, does he? So held in place by the sheer anger expressed through his toes.
I've been so angry you generated your own centrifugal force.
I'm just I just fetid, like, I've got, like, a Might of Heroes going, just, like, psychic strength is just raging through me.
This would be a perfectly valid point, I would think, this particular extreme of emotion, to consider maybe casting something without fetid, so you can get some sweet psychic phenomena going.
I'd push the remembrancer in front of him and be like, here, take out your rage on this.
Why are you trying to kill the remembrancer? Are you that terrified that they're going to do an elaborate oil painting of you cracking a bench? Is that really the event that you think they're going to take away from this?
Ultimately!
I'm this close to taking a fucking page from the Imperial Guard book and just executing the motherfucker who shot the fucking...
army, and also commissars do not exist yet, and you are...
I will start the trend!
You are authorized to kill your own troops in extremis.
What you say? I am authorized to.
Yeah, if you'd like to.
I like to think I'm a reasonable person.
I would just whisper to Brother Captain Nazeem.
Yeah.
Brother Captain, the Legion needs to see this fool die. It cannot be done privately.
Just seething in rage. It's just like nothing. Just
how are my eyes doing after almost being flash broiled?
Not great. You've got like hazy vision, but Astartes, so they're doing better than they might be. A lot of the civilians are either perma-blinded or like definitely not in a good state, but it's nothing that you shouldn't be able to sort out with a trip to the Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, can I use Medicaid for a soothing massage on Brother Captain?
I thought you were going to do the remembrancer and try and snap her neck then. I was thinking, Carl.
Die, remembrancer. Die. No one will ever see that picked footage.
You will never be remembered.
It's like, suddenly just like cracks spine and then just sits them down.
She's just sleeping. She's sleeping.
Guess she must have died in the flight.
Before stress got to her heart.
So,
can I just wait?
Yeah, you can try and relaxing massage the captain with his permission.
I'll be right back. 2 minutes.
That's fine.
God damn it, they've just...
I'm in blind rage now. I am non-responsive to everything.
Okay, so he's standing there seething as he stares at Michilco.
Okay, I'm not going to roll then, but I still want it, I say, in character action. Just soothing, calm, waves against the shore.
He would never let anyone else touch him like this, but you two, you campaigned back on Terra. You've got a bond of brotherhood and annoyance going back some ways. You're old comrades in arms, and you can touch his shoulder blades when he's angry. Back up on the ship, Coatlmox. Oh, is he still... Wait, is he still BRB?
Hello.
Oh, really quick, I'd like to vox forward do not bomb anything!
So, Coatlmox, you would have seen that things were under control via... Oh, no, I suppose you wouldn't have your pick feed, actually. What's happening with the Dreadclaws? Did they launch preemptively, or...?
I was just getting them prepped in case we needed them. I would have been watching the Seb feed.
Oh, fair. Sorry, I thought you were going to prep with them. But no, that's reasonable. So if you were watching the Seb feed and things seemed under control, then you just had them on standby. Cool. In that case, the flight back up to the Obsidian Heart is tense. No one is speaking by the time you dock the Firebird in its special accident-proof hangar aboard the ship.
Can our brig hold a Space Marine?
Yes.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I would think so. It's an Astartes craft. Well, I mean, yes and no, right? A number of the Astartes implants are specifically designed to make them hard to incarcerate over time. One of the big things being the acid spit. It's usually not for spitting into people's faces because you'll tend to have a helmet on.
We can just place him under guard inside his own barracks.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring him under guard.
That's fair. Michilco protests that he did nothing wrong.
Actually, that's the point. He might have not done it. I'd like to pull the picked... While he's being led away, I would like to pull the picked logs, everyone who was in the honor guard who was still down there. to see who it was fired the shot. Because if it was one of those others and they tried to frame him,
I thought it was quite clear who it was, wasn't it? Or
no, it's not actually been confirmed yet.
Yeah, you all identified Michilco as the only person with means, motive, and opportunity, and went, "That's pretty conclusive." But you don't actually, none of you actually saw him do it, and things evaporated into chaos within a microsecond.
Yeah.
Are we back at the ship then?
Well, luckily, I haven't called him out yet, so it's fine.
Cool.
But, so I'd like to look over the records with Coayah.
The two of you go to run the pick feeds.
I'm going to get this checked out.
I'm in two minds here. I'd like to add something interesting as a complication, but I'm not sure quite what to add.
It was actually me.
It was
under the
and we'll skin you. That's fine.
It was Seb.
Look, the person who did it is getting skinned. I don't really care who it is.
As long as the skinning happens, we're all good.
But it was simply the bolt pistol implanted into Seb. He doesn't have control over it. It is fired remotely from the obsidian heart. Coatlmox, what are you doing here? I mean, I suppose you could do that, actually. That doesn't seem even slightly unfeasible.
Excellent.
So, I will say that when you pull the pick feed, what you notice is, though it is indeed Michilco who fires the shot, both of the other honor guards were kind of straying towards their pistols. You could see them glancing down at them a little bit too often.
All three of them to the brig.
I think the other two, Brother Captain, I believe the other two should be placed on remedial learning. They did not take action, but the fact that they were straying towards their sidearms in such a delicate situation shows that they could, in future, do something quite as monumentally stupid.
You do have a remedial squad.
You do. And the person that fired it is from that squad, I believe.
A little voice at the back of your head there, Nazeem. And the person who organised it is in your squad.
I agree. And also I'd ask that next time you choose an honor guard, you choose a slightly more wisely than choosing from the remedials. Be them accomplished or not.
Definitely, Brother Captain.
A little voice in your head there, Coayah. If it was up to him, you would have gone down unarmed, unarmoured, and been left more or less completely helpless had even one of the local civilians...
No one would have got shot if we didn't have any weapons!
Had even one of the attached civilians done something foolish, or the locals turned out to be less friendly. Or indeed betrayed you as they might have at a merely slightly later junction. And so, Michilco is remanded to the brig under watch, and the remaining the two members of the honor guard who left with you are remanded to the remedial squad, leaving two very confused members of the honor guard who were sent to take the Magos back, who are still a bit like...
It's... Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to ask, the pilots of the Firebird, they're also remedial squad, right?
Yeah, in fact, they already are remedial squad,
Yeah, that's very true.
The two
Anyone
that
on this trip not in the remedial squad.
Let me have a look what the crew of a Stormbird is. Sorry, Nicholas?
the ones that are moved to the remedial squad are informed as to why. It's not just like, you're downvoted, it's like, this is why.
Oh, they get a comment as well as a downvote.
Yeah, it's not just like, downvote for like, what the fuck did I do? It's like, you were downvoted for doing this.
Cool, so it looks like the Firebird would have a crew of about 4, which means the remedial squad currently has 7 people in it.
We get to a point where everyone is put in the remedial squad.
If they fuck up, yes.
That's the Firebird squad, and you gotta learn to live fast and die young in that one.
Oh.
However, the rest of the company is now somewhat dissatisfied with the fact that the remedial squad is currently leading in kills. It's a bad look.
Should we hold the trial of Michilco first, or should we try and open overtures with the ground? I mean, they're definitely not going to listen to us after we opened fire on them. But,
I say let's do the trial of Michilco.
Is there any way we can salvage this?
Well, if we just tsunami the north, it might break on the mountains and save the farmland.
I want to be as bloodthirsty as the rest of you. I want to, if it's possible, lessen casualties if we can. If we can still get around this.
I say, as much as I'm in support of a northern tsunami, like, quite frankly, that would work wonders. Personally, like, if we are going to do an execution trial for Michilco, like, if we could broadcast it to the planet, saying, like, yeah, no, this guy's done fucked up, we're punishing him, like, maybe?
I think our best chance of getting anyone on side is probably Hierantis. Hierantis was, on our side when we were offering them concessions anyway. They weren't opposed to the Imperial Truth. Rastig will probably join us if we're like, yeah, we're probably going to have to stomp Marotha dead. You guys up for that? So we can probably get those two on side. The other nations will probably fall in line if we can get men inside, take down the void shields.
Drop down a couple Titans for intimidation.
Drop down the Titans to distract them, infiltrate the Marothan Metroplexic military complexes, disable the void shields, then just start dropping Dreadclaws directly into the city.
Once we disable the void shields,
yeah, it's got to disable the void shields, which is obviously the difficult bit, but I think we can probably get Hierantis and Rastig's marks still on side. They were...
Hierantis and who?
Hierantis in the top right and Rastig's mark in the... Again, it was the fact that Marotha was mostly just like, yo, this Imperial Truth thing was... maybe not.
No, it was Hoiran that were against the... Oh, no, it wasn't, was it? It was...
Yeah. So, per your dossiers, the local... It's not a strictly organised faith, though it does have something of a priesthood. But they're a sort of spirit and ancestor worshipping culture overall. Hierantis doesn't share that. They have something passing for a religion, but it's not nearly as important. They don't have like an official priestly caste either, for instance. So Hierantis was scoffing at the negotiations, whereas Rastig said nothing on it, and Marotha was like, but my faith.
Basically, Hierantis sounds like they'd be willing to sell out this sort of notional national religion in the name of concessions, protection, and a lot of money.
I like this plan.
Yeah.
If you don't have any pens for the bottom left corner of the map, army.
I mean, it's food and so forth, and
we suspect they'll fall in line.
I think Cread means the anonymous structures, which I do want to go visit.
Structures.
Yeah, I do want to visit those two.
How
was
easy is it?
Once the planet has been brought to compliance.
If the planet couldn't produce food, how easy is it to supply food to the planet?
You can supply food to planets. It tends to be because you need large transports to do anything like a reasonably planet-sized amount of food. And basically the Imperium's sorting this at the moment, but the supply lines aren't there. The demand is colossal, and the production isn't. So at the moment, especially, what they really want is for planets to be self-sufficient where they can be, and then topped up where necessary.
So
the major agricultural area on Galifan, Galifas rather, is the farmlands around in Telefulis Desig, so around Talisho and Zelona, etc., and like south of the Gralloch range. As long as those are intact, the planet will not starve to death.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Even if a lot of them are destroyed, you can probably still get away with feeding most people. But if you like nuked Telefulis, everyone would just starve after like a year or two.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we've got 4 minutes left of the session, so I don't think we'll be getting trials or anything done left, but like discussing your diplomatic plays and who you want to be attacking and how is entirely valid.
I'm assuming a penance box hasn't been invented yet.
Define penance box.
something Space Marines get put into for transgressors that are encased in a penance box. It's essentially a coffin of height and width barely greater than its owner.
Where are you getting this from?
Oh, where are you getting that from?
I did grab it off of Reddit, to be fair. I was looking at what is it's Astartes discipline and punishment.
Fair. Oh, I see.
I was like,
no, I mean, that sounds like just a thing. Like monks have those anyway in the real life. It's just a box that's reinforced. So I would say you can probably have a penance box and whack him in it.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's got like a psychostem helm. And it basically forces them to relive past battles or something.
Oh, a psychostem, right?
Psychostem, yeah.
Yeah.
Psychostem helm.
Cool. No, you don't have anything like that as far as I'm aware.
I don't think so.
Put him in a box, though.
You can just put him in a box where he can't move and like force feed him and leave him there for X amount of time.
Or we could always just turn him over to the Apothecary.
I think that's a better idea, maybe, yeah. He is a Space Marine. He will be of use.
Yeah, and once he's dead, we'll have his corpse put up in the atrium of the Obsidian Heart and a pleasant art piece commissioned called The Price of Failure.
I think if you give Carl a prisoner and tell him this is yours now, he's not going to kill it, or at least not going to kill it for years.
He'll keep it alive for a while, which I'd say is actually pretty good. That's like peak punishment. That's really good.
Just like Primaris Marines.
It's great.
Okay, right. Well, that's a little too far, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Babby Fabius turns his nose up at the price.
I mean, you can do whatever you want to him. Like, you've been wanting test subjects. You've been having to go like under the radar slightly. I'm giving you one. Here you go. Do whatever.
Oh yeah, no, all that's fine. I meant the Primaris stuff.
Oh, I see.
Ironically, I'm currently painting one right now.
When is Fabius Bile born?
He's born on Terra. He's actually
born,
really early.
Yeah, during the Unification Wars. He's around.
He's
did I meet
currently
Cole
the
as well?
chief apothecary of the 3rd Legion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Yep. No. Fabius Bile is around and doing his bile stuff.
Carl meets him. I've just got to say, I'm a big fan.
It's worse than that. They'd be contemporaries. Sorry.
Is old Cool around? Belisarius Cool?
Yes, but he's super young at this point.
He's also on a random Forge World that I can't remember the name of.
It's not even been discovered yet. Maybe other Magi will make cameos. It'll be fun. So,
what does our custodian think of all this? He's probably not happy.
Custodes, Weselin, he's silent, as he basically always is.
Observing.
Just observing. Especially for your first mission, it's his job to sort of see how this is going. He's not here to interfere, he's just here to keep you on the straight and narrow. Insofar as he
I
can.
Deal with fucking Coayah as well for his gifts and the admech.
Don't worry about it.
And on that subject, I think that's a good place to leave it for the week.
How many people do I have to discipline my fucking work?
If you make Coayah Sergeant of the Remedial Squad...
No, that's how you start a mutiny.
Oh. Well, or like, as you keep putting people in the Remedial Squad and find that eventually Coayah has half the company under his command.
Coyah's thing was a small transgression. It was nothing. What's his face did? I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Michilco.
Michilco.
What that douche did.
Just pretend you're saying it like Sean Connery.
Michilco.
Reminders for next session. Anyone got anything they want noted down?
Kill the remembrancer. We all want to
kill the admech.
Give Michilco to
kiss under the mistletoe
to the brain work Carl, basically.
He's got to go through a trial first. But we do have evidence and eyewitness accounts, which were us.
No, I was just reading up about the Primaris Marines. Apparently, they first started researching and stuff in the 31st millennium. So, I reckon I can get on that if you guys really want.
It's going to be like years real time before we even run out of the Great Crusade. Also, I'm not a big fan of Primaris.
The more time goes on, it would have been so much easier to just say, "Hey, here's Call. Here's all this new stuff for the Space Marines. It's just true scale Marines, and they're in a new armor mark. Here's Mark 10 armor."
Yeah, I would have loved that. Honestly, that.
Everyone would have loved that. It's like true scale Marines, new armor type. Done. It doesn't need to be new.
I can see why they did it though, because they say it's new and it brings in a new group of people who may not have otherwise have gone for it.
Yeah, but it's new, as in like here's a whole bunch of new models with new armors and they all look cool. But and you don't get the lore melting thing of and they're all different.
Do they still make Marines?
What?
They do, yeah.
They still make normal Marines.
Yeah. So that you can, still have someone who actually has flavour. Cool. Any other reminders for next session?
I need to go get my eyes checked.
You can assume that happens off screen.
Medical attention, please.
Coayah still needs reprimanding to the AdMech for giving away best craft gear.
In my current mood, I will kill that prick if he starts trying to fucking discipline me.
The idea
I'm going to discipline you for him.
Someone's getting placed in the remedial squad.
I kind of love the remedial squad.
Put him in the box.
It is the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, they don't get beds, they get coffins.
Michilco is still alive and he's still in the remedial squad. More failure than man at this point. Any other reminders?
But it's 1,000 years later, like, why is this guy not in a dreadnought? Well, you see, he never had one. It's just the coffin part.
After the after the writing of the Codex Astartes, he's the founder of the remedial chapter.
No. Can we have get Hoiron and Rastic to pincer Marotha?
Yeah, get Hoiron and Rastic on the phone.
That's an important one, yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
More firebirds.
No. Anything but that.
I kind of love the Firebird. It's so dumb.
I'm amazed it worked out this time.
You know where it actually might be vaguely useful as well is for hangars, enemy hangars when you're invading.
Oh, yeah.
If you can nip into the hangar, nuke everything with fire, and then send your marines out into the burning inferno as everyone else is busy melting.
I mean, the idea of a flamethrower plane is fine as long as the plane itself is not flying too fast. It's useful in many situations.
I think we said that, to be fair, they could be mounted. They're mounted on underslung turrets as well, so that you aren't stuck always flying through your own fires.
You can't ever be used in an air-to-air duel, which is...
Yeah, but they're not generally good air-to-air craft anyway, unless you're fighting other heavy fighters.
And you can't really use them as anti-emplacement weapons because you need to get really, really close.
They're basically just good for destroying food supplies, destroying hangars, probably flying into cities.
Close air support in urban environments, you know.
Yeah, I would not want to be in a city where that thing's flying around and just melting, vitrifying.
You can just drop plasma bombs, which regular Stormbirds come with.
I love the idea of, why do we have the Firebirds? They're so impractical. No one ever expects the flame aerial support. You've heard of Rain of Fire? Let me tell you. Cool. So get the Hoiron Principality and Rastic's Mark on side for the war. Anything else?
I can't think of anything else.
Cool.
Begin preparations for infiltration of Marothan Metroplex for the Void Shield. I was going to say destabilization there, but disabling.
I have one. Yeah. Figure out what Hoiron and Rastic want in order to, or information they can provide us with.
Well, to be fair, we know what Hoirantis wants. Hoirantis likes the money, and they want to be able to set their own terms of who gets on their planet. Rastic seem to want fuck Marotha.
Totally. I just think there's probably going to be I somewhat suspect there's going to be if we go down there, they ask us, hey, we'll do this thing for you if you just do this one thing for us.
To be fair, Hoyrantis on the Hoyran Principality has also fucked over Rastic's mark, but, not as much as Marotha, and if you can at least kill one of your enemies,
Cool. Any other reminder for the trial of Michilco?
Yes, it's already been put down. Cool. Yeah, it was interestingly the third reminder. You prioritized killing the Remembrancer and killing the killing the Mechanicum over him. What?
Oh! Another reminder. I have. Whose heads do I have? I have 2 heads.
Yes, that's very true. Actually, you've got the heads of the Marothan delegate and the head of the Hoyran delegate.
I forgot you took the head of the Horothan. Oh no, wait! All of the evidence was destroyed in the. But
Exactly.
Okay, that's one advantage of the fucking Firebird: evidence destruction.
They were forbidden from giving an exit salvo, so the headless corpses were left behind. Which is
okay, right?
Filled with lasgun fire.
It's fine. They were dead anyway, so...
I mean, Seb's not okay. He got shot a few times, but it's nothing that a quick trip to the forge to patch him up and remove some more weak flesh won't solve.
Right, then, as a reminder, install remote bolt gun in Seb.
Okay. Those heads won't keep as well, Nicholas, so you've got to use them fresh for the record.
Yes, I know. I see. I eat them ASAP, lunch and dinner.
You don't have to eat the whole thing. Nope, I'm not engaging.
Would you like some fava beans and a nice Chianti?
God damn it, it's not even red meat. Coatlmox wants to do the thing. Anything else? Nope. Cool. In that case, feedback. Anything you liked, anything you disliked, anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time?
I have a bit of feedback, and it was kind of about the shooting of the honor guard. To me, that personally felt a little railroady. Like it was going to happen. We were doing really well, and then suddenly the guy died. She just was shot, and it was like, I don't know. I personally felt that was quite railroady. Like, we weren't given a choice of even stopping him. It just happened, and as things were going really well.
I think it would have been better if we had an awareness to see him draw.
Yeah, it kind of felt like, well, it sounded like it was always going to happen. Like, there wasn't going to be necessarily a chance for us to have a peaceful resolution.
It sounds a little bit like you did a lot of prep for this campaign about the various intricate politics of the world and how we would have to ally various powers together to take down one of them and achieve a swift compliance, and then we buggered those plans up because we went the diplomatic option first, and you didn't have a plan for this ending in 3 sessions with an orderly compliance, ultramarine style.
Anti-murder hobos. No, so I actually did have a plan for that. I had 3, in fact. So plan number 1 was I assumed at some point one of you would bugger up the negotiations, either by attempting to launch an attack unauthorized from orbit, or by shooting someone and replicating Nicholas's action from the first campaign just on your own, or otherwise by doing something dumb, and none of you did, which was a hugely welcome surprise. And then my backup plan was to have another member of the company do it, but we only had the honor guard down there, so it wound up being Michilco. And then my backup plan is if you had somehow stopped Michilco or had no one else down there with you, is we would have had marauding space wolves come in and fuck things up for you instead.
So my point there is that was, then it sounds like that was always going to happen. Like that lady was always going to die, or negotiations, doesn't matter what we were going to do, things were always going to get fucked up.
I mean,
which is kind of like the point I'm making. It feels railroad.
Yeah. I would have even referred to the wolves.
As Benji said, it was railroady, but that's because that's where the content was. I don't railroad much, but something was needed, and personally, I'm this doesn't sound really patronizing, but I'm so hugely impressed that we needed to get to even the backup plan. I was not expecting you to actually sensibly almost bring about compliance.
I think it could, the reasoning behind him shooting them, I don't think was fair. I think as long as the reason for it was okay, it'd be fine. If there's in-world law reason for it happening, absolutely fine. I think
we can re-put the reason as Michilco is an ardent fucking believer in the Imperial Truth.
He is,
and here is the command squad, or at least one of the command squad, seemingly with the captain's approval, offering this world seemingly unlimited time to divest themselves of their filthy deist ways.
Yeah, exactly. This is the company's reputation at stake, and it's his old enemies fucking it up. Sorry, Nicholas?
Wait, it was going to fuck us.
That's fine. Just as long as it wasn't going off of the whole geneseed argument, because I think that was very...
I mean, it partially was, but like not exclusively that. That was a situation that made sense to him. And also, like, again, I'm going to heap on that patronizing praise of, I was expecting... with that initial backup plan, if it's fine, I'll just have some random Marine do it. I was expecting to have more cause for the random Marines to be able to justify it with, well, negotiations clearly weren't going well. Why shouldn't I have shot? And you didn't really leave a gap for that. Negotiations genuinely did go quite well.
I think maybe then if it had been presented in a slightly different way, as in maybe the delegation made the first move to kill us or something like that, would have just been swallowed slightly easier. Because I think what got me was that, I get it, the content is in a certain area, makes sense, but it was the way that the justification came across was, and the guy saw us do it once 10 years ago, now he's going to do it, and it's kind of like, cool, but I don't feel like the best way.
There was plenty of interesting politics.
The geneseed is in your... It's in your blood, it's in how you think. So it's not just he saw you do it 10 years ago, not least because he didn't. Though he would have heard the story at this point. But it's because that is how your legion acts. You are typical of your legion, and a shoot first, ask questions later when negotiations aren't clearly going your way.
But they were clearly going our way, is the thing.
Up until that exact point as the first opportunity where something even slightly wasn't. Which was to say, you tipping your hands at the negotiating table of like, yeah, sure, you can, like... Fucking Coayah did straight up.
And my point is, I just interpret that as kind of a flimsy argument, which I think is an opinion I can have because it just felt like one.
It is valid, but also like I think it's possible for different characters to exist in a setting with different opinions of what constitutes reasonable discussion or not. Like.
My opinion, and I said like I said, I specified that. I just feel like maybe the reasoning could have come about a different way that would have felt more organic to myself.
That's fair. Well, I'm sorry I didn't manage to make it up to spec. Yeah, Nicholas?
The geneseed stuff that we're talking about. I know, like in this situation that's fair enough, but the actual thing behind it of when talks start falling apart, that bit that's generated from my past actions, correct?
Yeah, vaguely.
And I'd like to reiterate the reasoning behind killing the guy on Saturn or wherever it was. Venus.
You murdered the world.
No. That's
you can at least remember.
For me, it was Tuesday.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because it was Tuesday.
It wasn't that negotiations had fallen apart. I was making a priority of like he's a threat through the knowledge I had gained. Therefore, we can't trust him. Just kill him. That wasn't a negotiation falling apart.
And how is letting faithful people into the Empire and making them a vital waypoint not a threat to everything the Imperium's base stands for?
It wasn't a direct and immediate threat. It's something we came here to deal with.
It was far more insidious. It was a long-term ideological threat that you were just going to let go for your first engagement. Utterly
there were better narrative. Basically, the way I think Ollie and Jonas were saying is there were better narrative ways to do his sudden and yet inevitable betrayal.
I just want to get
the geneseed stuff does come across as a little bit flimsy. I mean, it's still there, it's still valid, but like there are other things to do about it, ways to do it.
Well, I mean, it's good feedback to have, and thanks everyone for speaking up. And I'll try and work on this stuff a little bit more in the future. Like I say, I was expecting a little bit more of your standard murder hoboery, and not that I'm disappointed that you didn't do that, but I'll adapt for that a bit more in future.
Young Nicholas, hopefully that was a bit better for you as well.
100% better. Seriously, Benji, like just like the checking in and stuff was superb. I felt like you had the right amount of like overstep and so forth, and I was really happy with it. Much better.
Well, to be fair, I only tried to overstep when you literally seemed like you were floundering. He was like, I'm just gonna pop my foot in here and be like, let me just.
No, definitely. I definitely lost in those bits. I think your character came through really well though as well, because like your strengths are those bits anyway. So.
Any other feedback?
Yeah.
Though interplayer feedback also perfectly valid. Nope. Cool. Questions? Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in that session? Was everyone following the plot?
We need the remembrancer.
Sorry?
I was told I shouldn't kill the remembrancer because we need her for some reason.
Yeah, is that you're supposed to have one and you'll get another one sent and a like bad boy message if you do kill her. And also probably the custodian won't be super happy. It's not
What was his name again?
He's the name you have been given, which is by no means going to be his full name, was Weselin.
The remembrancer or the custodes?
The custodes. The remembrancer is Hosetta Carling. Yes, what was I going to say? Things. So it's by no means uncommon for Astartes to not like remembrancers following them around, especially remembrancers being like artists and extremely skilled artists, and in many cases like celebrities of some kind on their world or in their society. They're not usually prone to portraying the exact truth as the Astartes themselves want to see it.
Let's not forget Perturabo and his little painting.
So, any other narrative questions? No? Cool. In that case, let's do some XP. Plot progress.
Started the war.
Sorry?
We started the war.
It's entirely valid. Can't not give you full XP for that. Anything else?
Gained a semi-insight into thoughts on what we can bring to the table. So we got their reactions to but our religion and money. So we reinforced those.
Sorry, field tested the Firebird.
Yes. Proved it's viable.
Remarkably effective.
It exceeded.
And you all laughed at me.
It exceeded all initial operating expectations. People go, but the operating expectations were that it would immediately explode. Yes, and it exceeded that massively. Cool. Okay. Character development. Does anyone feel like they developed their characters in this session? And if so, how?
Code loves dessert.
Valid.
We found of rare fish.
Sorry?
Newfound love of rare and exotic fish.
Did you have like a newfound love of rare and exotic fish? I suppose you did try to save it.
I just never had that fish before, and now I do, and I'm just very happy with it.
You don't, because I stamped on it.
I was going to actually bring that up as a bit of development as well. Maccy mentions, I was starting to like you, and now this. So that kind of like cemented the interaction between them.
That's fair. So Maccy hates Coayah's buzzkillery. Cool. Anything else?
Coayah slips further towards the edge.
Get edgelords.
Yeah, Nicholas, you going to say anything?
Yes. Words. The Morotha now hate us, probably.
You can't have character development for the NPCs.
But it happened, it's true.
It's not character development.
But still.
It's character development.
But not for us.
I already gave you your pity XP for like the full XP for plot progress.
Being pity, that was forced upon us XP.
I'm sorry, would you like it to be forced upon you and I don't give you 30 XP rather than 20?
No.
That's what I thought.
Coatlmox takes his saboteur route.
That's also valid. And
Nazeem feels that his crazy ideas are worth following in future. The Firebird has proven itself, so it's like, this will work. I told them it would work.
They wouldn't listen to me. They thought I was crazy.
You all laughed at me when I said the Firebird was a hilarious idea. You told me I was a bastard for forcing you into this death trap of a plane.
And look, it saved us.
It'll be a great idea until the first time it explodes.
That is how many of our plans have gone, to be fair. This will be great until it breaks and explodes, but
it needs an extra armor and shielding around the fuel tanks, but it'll be fine.
So, with their compressed Promethean jelly.
Given the first Stormbird in this campaign we got into, it fucking exploded. I'm not entirely sure why you've strapped essentially 2 Titan-sized goddamn bombs next to us.
I mean, valid. But also, it's effective. None can deny the Firebird's amazing qualities of fire and bird-likeness. Excellence of roleplay. Does anyone feel like anyone else roleplayed particularly well that session?
I think Benji's... what's the term? I was going to say Light of the Emperor, but that's not quite appropriate. But let's just say diplomatic influencing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think Carl's screaming in the helmet and so forth was beautiful.
I am loving
to show our killing power or something, wasn't it?
I'm loving like this Kuzco development of I have a quiet voice, which is when my vox is turned off, and I have a loud voice, which is when my vox is turned on. And I'm waiting for the day he forgets which way round it is.
Oh, so am I. It's gonna be good.
I'm just waiting for that part, is it, from the Simpsons where Krusty's like, I said the loud part quiet, and the quiet part loud.
Yeah. The worst part is that's going to be completely natural as well.
Completely blows the secrecy of the heresy at the exact wrong moment. Any other Excellence of Roleplay awards?
Again, I'd say Creed's like going through the office and then kind of realizing way too late that, wait a minute, this is an ad tech office. He's probably got cameras. Let's put a hood up.
Anything else?
Carl with his dessert adventures. Getting angry as soon as the viscera landed on them.
Oh, enjoy my meringue.
Anything else?
I think young Nicholas did well adapting more into being in command.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, I thought Nick did a really good job.
I'm happy to see Nicholas in like something outside of his usual slightly wacky role as well. It's interesting to have people in different positions, especially with him desperately trying to minimize casualties as the rest of his legion literally grade themselves by how many and who they've killed.
That's when we're in like assault doctrine. We're not in that right now. We're in diplomatic doctrine.
Sounds like we need some hypno indoctrination.
Yes, it does.
Main problem of the heresy, not enough hypno indoctrination to go around.
Any other Excellence of Roleplay? Oh, we've actually got like full at this point anyway. But do feel free to throw them out if you like.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just working out the...
That one breathing heavy.
Someone is breathing really heavy.
Creed.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm sure he's trying to breathe out the window.
Okay. I make that to be 165 experience points for session number 8. That is 30 points of plot progress. You started the war, plotted the initial campaign plays, and field tested the Firebird. 30 points of... which implies you took an untested flight vehicle on the first diplomatic mission. What if it had crashed? I suppose it wouldn't matter, you'd all be dead. 30 points of...
The Stormbird isn't unfield tested, it's just the armaments.
Yeah, but... valid, but you must have ripped out a fair bit of stuff to get the fucking Inferno cannons to fit. 30 points of character development. Kuzco loves dessert. Oh, I just put desert there and I got myself very confused. Kuzco loves dessert. Maccy hates Coayah's buzzkillery. Coayah slips further towards the edge. Coatlmox continues to vie for control of the Mechanicum. 30 points, excellence of roleplay. Coayah's diplomatic plays. Kuzco's screeching into his helmet. Coatlmox realizes way too late he's totally out of his depth, breaking into the Mechanicum office. Kuzco's dessert adventures. Damn it. Nazeem Kuzco's dessert adventures, and Nazeem continues to grow into command, plus 75 standard.
What's total again?
165. Which brings us on to everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Young Nicholas, do you have any highlights for that session?
Firebird, it works.
Anything else?
A stronger bench.
Anything else?
That bitch paints I'm just gonna flip out if she paints that.
The least dramatic thing that occurred at that meeting. Anything else?
It's not the usual funny one, but just so diplomatic. GM has to railroads. And I mean that in the most positive way. We did so well.
No, that's totally fair. It's been a while since I've had to railroad like that, because I'm kind of ambiently used to the old rogue trader dynamic for diplomatic stuff, where you'll try and you'll do about 60% well, but someone will fuck up something hard enough that it'll deflect down the default narrative route. That did not happen here.
I like to say it's taking 3 rights instead of just going left.
I told you Carl you have a way with words.
The thing was, Mao wasn't trying to bang anyone at dinner.
Mao was usually the only person trying at the diplomacy, and then the rest of you would be there snorting ground up babies at the dinner table with the newly met people, or casually insulting everyone's mothers, and when being confronted on it saying, well, it's their fault for being offended, I don't like their hats.
Meaning more when he royally fucked up that party at Winterscales when trying to bang someone. I can't remember who he was trying to bang. He was either trying to bang an Inquisitor or an Eldar.
He did fuck up when he was trying to bang someone, but when he wasn't, he was doing fine, by and large. So did so well at diplomacy that the GM was forced to hard railroad. You're done on Galifast now, folks. You can head home, it's fine. We'll be spinning on to the next one.
It's just we were so poised, just go yeah, sure, okay, we're done here, let's go. No war.
As the Space Wolves settle down for a long campaign, and we just drive past and well, we're done. Suck it.
So, any other highlights here, Nicholas?
I think that's it.
Cool. Creed, you got any highlights for that session?
Coayah smacks down the Imperial Truth. Just a bit of Imperial Truth-speak.
Anything else?
Maccy can't read a room.
An excellent meme. Anything else?
And
Name one
the
time.
servant's response. I will fetch a funnel.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Cool. Carl, do you have any highlights for that session?
I believe it was a Benji quote, rampant unprofessionalism.
Anything else?
Geneseed influence for Maze in the Firebird, just oh, my finger slipped.
Oh dear. It's not my fault. The Geneseed made me do it. Oh dear. Anything else?
This one is remedial squad has highest kill count so far.
Yeah, that's about to end. I'm gonna personally go down and kill so many.
Oh wow, this means if I actually do an orbital cannon strike, I just straight up get a higher kill count than Nick.
I thought the idea was that we were going to bring down the Marotha Metroplex's void shields and then just drop in using Dreadclaws rather than orbital strike.
Oh, we'll drop in using building block-sized ordnance.
Diplomatic mode. Everyone, we must work together as a team to ensure that compliance is achieved with the minimum amount of blood loss. War mode. Everyone for themselves, kill count is what matters.
Orbital destruction counts.
I can't help but wonder if our Primarch, who is, by the sounds of it, a hunter, is going to be really happy or really sad we have a kill count mode built into our... there's only 2 places in the galaxy that have those Architect kill counters. That one Demon Prince and this one random legion.
It's not a
Sorry,
demon
by
prince,
that
it's-
one
it's
demon prince,
Khan,
you mean Khan the Betrayer?
who
Yeah.
doesn't
My
have
role.
it yet and isn't a demon prince.
Yeah.
No, never. He's never.
Oh, he's never become a demon prince.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
He's more than a demon prince. He's one of
He's Khorne's mortals. He's Khorne's favourite mortal,
yeah.
which is better.
Significant.
Jesus.
So he's like an avatar of Khorne almost.
No,
Think
he's
more like the
Khorne's best
favourite
friend.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like, for comparison with Slanesh's one of those, like the gift that Slanesh gave him is that he can die, but if the person who kills them feels even an iota of pride in it, then they will just turn into the favourite mortal over the next couple of weeks, and therefore he's functionally immortal because whoever kills him almost always becomes it.
And it's anyone, if anyone involved in it feels a hint of pride, because in one story, a menial felt pride at doing his job well, of getting a load of bolt shells, so it didn't matter that he was shot to death by a bunch of really, really stoic Marines who felt no pride in it. That one random menial turned into him over the course of a few weeks.
And sometimes it'll happen like years after the fact. There's a story in the new canon which I kind of hate and kind of love where it happens to a Necron Lord. In an instance of because usually you'd say, well, it's a necrodermis, you don't get a chance to do that. But the thing here is it is the express and direct power of a chaos god going, this is my favourite mortal and no one shall fuck with them and I shall give them the best powers. And the thing that Khan gets from that is he just doesn't stay dead. Khan's great, I love Khan. First into the breach at the Imperial Palace. Suck it, Angron, you big red nerd. Where the fuck were we? Kill counts aren't those architect kill counters aren't common either, for the record. Any other highlights? No, that was Carl, right? And that was Carl's final highlight. So in that case, Ollie, any highlights?
So my first highlight was Nick on killing subordinate members of your squad, or of your command, under your command. On blamming, I will start the trend.
Sorry?
It was when Nick was going to wanted to just shoot the guy in the head, and you were like, there's no commissars, there's not really people killing other people right now in that way. And you're just and Nick's just like, I will start the trend.
There's not a thing yet, it's like, I will start it.
Anything else?
Adventures in Fish Time.
Adventures in Fish Time, okay. Anything else?
Reading the room perfectly.
It's the counter of what Carl said.
I'm afraid it's already been had, Ollie. And more accurately. Anything else?
Good squad cohesion. Actually, we did have that. We were like, correctly bouncing off one another. We had all we were like,
Squad, and then there was that other guy.
There was a squad, there was the other guy. Then there was Cread in orbit.
Yeah, Creed.
On the red button.
There was always a chance I was just going to ruin everything myself, given enough time.
So you could have just fucking spooked Creed, and Creed would have just dropped a bomb for you.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much encouragement. Next time, just poke me a message, I got you.
I probably should have at least considered, doing the little voice in the back of your head. But also, I didn't want to encourage player trolling is the thing. Like, it's one thing if the GM says, aha, the NPCs are being dicks or shitty around you. It's another to, like, actively encourage players to shit all over each other's hard work. You're working really hard on the diplomatic stuff. If I was going to railroad it, and it wasn't going to get fucked up naturally, I would prefer that it be something that I do fucks it up rather than a player fucks you over.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If Creed had decided to tsunami by himself, that would also have been fine for my purposes. But I'm also kind of happy that he didn't, right? Like, it was clearly important to you all, and he didn't want to fuck it up without, due excuse. Any other highlights, Ollie?
No, nothing else for me.
Cool. Benji, do you have any highlights for that session?
Something out of words.
God damn it.
Baby Fabius.
Babby Fabby.
Nothing yet.
Anything else?
The LZ gets hot.
I like that.
The LZ gets...
Nice.
Oh no, the Firebird blew up. Who could have predicted this outcome?
You love the Firebird.
I do, but I hate it now.
He hates the fact he loves it, and that's more than enough reason why we keep.
Anything else?
Arguing over. I'm trying to think. It's arguing over what method of death would be more horrible for Michilco.
Everyone wants to punish Michilco. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for now.
Cool. In that case, I think my major highlight that I would add is I learned it by watching you, Salt or otherwise. I do think it's quite funny. Not even Salt, actually. It was just reasonable feedback. I shouldn't have said Salt. That was unfair. Cool. Thank you all for a very entertaining session number 8. Any final words for the recording?
Fuck Michilco.